Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? It's your boy King DV, and I'm with my co-host, Liddy. What's going on, bro?
Man, it's love, man.
Hey, y'all know the name of the mother game. Last minute of stuff. Hey, it don't take too much, man. I said, get this while it's hot.
Until next time, man, y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Back with another video. Inside the nest, man. I wanted to host on the show, King DV, with my co-host. What's going on, bro?
Relaxation, man. You know, the off season always feel better when you gotta chill.
Not to some people, man.
But you know what I mean? Listen, man, we got a special guest. Listen, he caught my eye on Twitter. He had some words to say in the video, and I was just watching the video. I was like, you know what? Me and DV need somebody with some logical sense. I was like, bro, you know what? I need you on the pod. He hit me so fast it almost caught me off guard, DV. He hit me back. I was like, is this a bot? But Jason Ashworth, man, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I responded quick. Somebody gives me, you want to talk? I'll talk. If people know me, they know I like to talk. So don't sweat that, man. Anytime.
Yeah, man. So obviously the off season has been full of festivities. But you know we gotta go first, man. Go ahead, DV. It's on you.
You already know, man. I shed a tear when this happened, man. Because I wasn't ready for it. I knew it was going to happen. I knew he's going to retire. I knew Brandon Graham was going to retire, but I wasn't ready for it that day. You know, as soon as I seen his cleats on the Rocky statue, it was a picture I saw before he even got on the podium. I said, "Yeah, it's a done deal." Legendary career, man. Two Super Bowls. What more can you say? He impacted both of them. Strip sack, still won. And then also just being there, his presence could have, uplifted their whole defense, that whole front seven. Just a lot of memories with BG, man. And I think he's going to stay around the organization. I don't know. People think as a coach, but I don't think so. I think he wants to go into the commentating role. Like he wants to, talk about
the coach
more.
He said it though, right? Did he say something about wanting the coach?
He said it, but he said he got a lot of different avenues that he could go into. I heard him say that. I forgot where he was at, but he had a suit on and he was talking sports. He said he got a lot of different avenues. But yeah, this was an easy one for me. It wasn't like the Jason Kelce one, honestly, only because Jason Kelce, you already knew that he still wanted to play. You felt it, like BG after the whole situation in the Super Bowl that he re-injured himself. I said, yeah, it's a done deal. I'd rather him just spend time with his kids and his family. Retired 15 years, man. He been through the ringer with Philadelphia, and he got 2 Super Bowls out of it, and he gave his all every week. So, kudos to Brandon Graham on his 15-year career, and hopefully we could get another person, another player that can last that long. Besides Lane Johnson, because we're gonna get to that, but Lane Johnson is up next. So, yeah, kudos.
Jason, first reactions. How you feel, bro? How you feel about
I mean, it's BG, right? It's BG. We've all kind of he alluded to it in his presser today. I mean, it started tough for him. We were all a little tough on BG, and the guy we were always talking about was Earl Thomas, right? Because they skipped over Earl Thomas. We saw that Legion of Boom and what they were doing in Seattle, and we said, the typical thing in Philadelphia. Oh, you skipped XYZ to go get ABC, right? But BG, man, he embraced Philadelphia. He kind of embraced what it meant to be part of this city, part of this team. He went through his adversity and he won the fans over. Now, a Super Bowl helps, especially when you had the strip sack of the GOAT. You cause that turnover, like that helps your legacy in Philadelphia. But just the player he was, I mean, we all kind of just grew with him. I mean, it was 2010. was 2010, guys. It was 15 years ago that we called his name on draft day. He glued himself to this city. He glued himself to the team and the fans alike. He will be missed. His presence in the locker room will be missed. There'll be a lot of 5-5 still in that stand. Just kind of cheering this guy on. I hope he stays with the organization, to be honest with you. I think he's good for the organization, whether that be as a coach, whether that just be as an advisor, whatever role or capacity that may be. I hope he stays with the organization. But just from the last 15 years and him calling it a career and wrapping it up today, it all kind of came full circle. A sad day, but also a proud day, right? Because it's BG and we're happy for him. And he went out on top, got 2 rings. Good for him. He's a staple. He's a cornerstone of this organization.
You muted.
I think it didn't hit me so bad because I accepted it a year ago. Even like before the Super Bowl, I was kind of like, BG kind of on the way out. I think if we win one in 23, he probably not even on the stand today. He on the stand 2 years ago saying goodbye. He even said it himself. If we didn't win the Super Bowl in 2025, he would still be trying to get back on the field to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, like, I said it before, like, God did everything to make it ordained for him to leave now. You announce you getting when you're going to play through the last season. You're having a great season. In probably your best game of the season, you get hurt.
Right.
And then it's like all the reports say season is over. You know what I mean? He pretty much a cheerleader for the rest of the year. And then as we win games, you start hearing, hey, it sounds like BG getting better. It sounds like BG might be on the field for the Super Bowl. Then you had an inkling right before the playoffs that, hey, he might play NFC Championship game if he healthy, but they might just hold on to the Super Bowl. And then when they said he was going to play, I was like, how much more could it have been a storybook ending? How much better could a script writer have written that in a movie? Like, you go down, you at the depths, like you hurt, you going on WIP to have shows, you just trying to do whatever you can to stay in the lane of football, and you just like, man, I'm not gonna play again in my last year. You get Fangio get on the stage and say, well, if he don't come back, we're gonna push for him to come back next year. We want to see him go out on top. And then for him to play in the last game, and then go out with a sack. His last play on the field was a sack on Pat.
Right. I mean, and look, he embraced it the whole way too. When he went out against the Rams, we felt it too, and we didn't find out until after the game. I didn't know he got hurt during the game. I had no idea until post game, and he said, like, it's a wrap. Yeah, I'm done. But he embraced it the whole time. He was positive. Look, I mean, it's in God's plan. It is what it is. I'm still going to be there for my teammates. He embraced the entire thing. When it started to sneak out that, wait a minute, he could possibly return, but only if they get to the Super Bowl. Then it was, oh God, we're going to get to the Super Bowl. Is BG going to make an appearance if he come back to the Super Bowl? He was playing so well. You had mentioned he was playing so well that when he got hurt, my first thought was, what? So is he coming back next year? Because you ain't going out like that. Like, not the way that you're playing. Like, these athletes, we know that. You still got something in the tank. You're coming back. It's at that point where you realize I can't do it anymore at this level that you hang the cleats up. He was doing it. He was doing it at a high level. So when he went down, my first thought was, oh, we might have another year of BG. For him to come back in the Super Bowl, to contribute in a Super Bowl, again, he retore it, right? So that probably had a little something to do with, I ain't going through that again, right? But to go out on top, play at a high level, you're right. I don't know if there's a better way that he could have written it.
Nah, because like even re-tearing, he was like, I toughed it out. He was like, me and Nolan both was out there with the same injury. We was just like, we gotta go get it done.
Yeah.
And then what really made it resonate is hearing BG, right? Obviously you hear the one side, but I had heard Nolan talking about it. Like, man, look, me and BG was kind of having a conversation like, look, we're gonna scrap this helmet on, we're gonna put these cleats on, and with or without the injury, you're finna go out here and finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, just like, because I was, somebody told me, like, and I didn't even notice it. His first play was a penalty. His last play, his first play of the Super Bowl was a penalty. Jawan Taylor, holding. His last play on the field is a sack. It's like his first play probably should have been a sack and the last play. Because I looked at the play today, I'm just like, let me see this holding penalty. If he don't grab BG grabs Pat.
I'm about to say, because you seen when everything stopped, you seen where BG was.
Right next to Pat, but he held up. if he don't grab him, he grab Pat. It's sack. He go out with the
number
real
7
story.
on the day.
But like, nah, man, it's a great experience to kind of witness somebody grow. Like I said, the show, because you ever watch a show and you see the character in season 1, you're like, I don't really know if his character gonna fit the show. Like, I don't really know if he belong in this show. This might not be his show. He might have a show. This might not. And then season 3, 5, 7, you start being like, I kind of like this dude. This dude done growed into something. Hold on, he might be more the main character than the dude I started watching for. And then the Super Bowl happened, and you like, oh yeah.
But to like the average Philadelphia fan, sports fan, just thinking about Allen Iverson, thinking about guys that played here and have been successful here, regardless of championships or not, they all say the same thing when they retire. They all say, all you gotta do is show them that you care, show them passion, show them all this, and they will respect you. And that's why, like the whole BG, Jason Kelsey thing, even Lane Johnson, just playing through injuries and everything like that, just to get us 2 Super Bowls and counting. It's a beautiful thing, man. Just going through what he went through the past year, like y'all said, the Rams game. I thought that was it for him. I didn't even fathom that we could make it all the way to the Super Bowl. I wanted to play Detroit, but then when we ended up playing the Commanders, I'm like, all right, this could be our ticket in. I didn't know it was going to be 55, but I thought that, and that's alignment too with the 55 points, and we gonna get here, and then BG comes up. Like it's just crazy how it all works out. And I'm happy to see his leadership off the field and how he stayed strong and everything for like guys like Nolan Smith and still was mentoring from the sideline and doing things like that. Even the Kobe Dean, like guys like that, they still was around. You know what I'm saying? They didn't Devin White us.
And I think that's the truth. Well, and that's where I say I hope he stays with the organization because he still has that passion. Now maybe he's tired of the physicality of it. Was he 36 years old? Something like that, right? I don't know.
36.
But maybe he's over the physicality, but he still has that passion. He still has that ability to connect. And if I'm not mistaken,
it might be the week rehab. Like
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean by the physicality part of it, like getting your body ready for a season. I mean, obviously you had to go through another surgery. You have to rehab that arm again, but then just getting your body ready to get into in-season form, right? It's not, I heard this today and it's the truth. It's not about how you feel at the end of a year, because at the end of the year, you put the work in. You've gotten your body ready. You've done them extra sprints. You lift them extra weights. At the end of the year, you're all right. It's getting your body into that shape. That's such a grind, that off-season grind that these dudes are probably, once they hit a certain age or a certain part, that look, I'm not here for it. But what I was going to say was, I hope he stays around. I thought actually this week when they signed Ojulari, I thought based on Ojulari's comments that it meant BG was coming back, because he said, hey, I talked to BG. I'm going to lean on BG. Like he's a mentor. I'll take things from him, from his game. So I thought maybe they had a side conversation where BG kind of hinted at, hey, maybe I'll be back. If that's not the case, then I would have to assume that in some capacity, which I know BG's already met with the Eagles and talked about, hey, like what could that role look like? But I think in some capacity, it's about being around those players. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of lessons that he can lean on and teach these young pups, because they're still young pups. Let's not get it twisted. So from that perspective, I hope he sticks around, and I think he will.
You muted.
He said,
he loves that mute button. Loves that mute button.
Yeah, bro. He said, I don't even know how it muted that time, to be honest. But he said he'll be at everything Eagle related that he can be at. So I'm assuming he's gonna be at the facility as much.
No doubt.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, man. I know it's a little touchy. A lot of people kind of touchy. Situation where you're attached to the player, really underanalyze the play, and you big up the emotion. Because it's like, is CJ Gardner-Johnson the best safety? No, he's not. We could get production from, I could name 10 other ones. We could come in right now and you get better safety production. But my problem with the move is he fits the culture. He fits the guys in the room. Yes, he doesn't play the best, but he gets everybody else to play better. And that's the problem I had with the trade. You know what I mean? I'm kind of at the point where I'm kind of getting over it because it's a year-to-year league. But like his energy, his ability to like almost, I forgot the dude's name for 300, but him for almost to just,
What, Leonidas?
Yeah, just and then everybody. It seems like the energy resonates across the board. It's like I don't know if you replace that. How everybody else feel about the CJ Garner Johnson trade?
Oh, DV, you go.
I mean, just like the average Eagles fan, I didn't know what the heck was going on, but then I'm like, you know what? I can't question the guy that took us to 3 Super Bowls in his tenure as GM. I can't question the guy, that just put teams together and knows what he's doing. And then you got to think about the contracts that were signed before the season, and then right after the Super Bowl. You extend Saquon Barkley, you sign back Zach Bond, guy that we all wanted back here. And then it's like, okay, well, everybody's bored up, and but how are we going to pay CJ? How is CJ? Because now you got to look into the future for a Jalen Carter, for possibly Jordan Davis, guys like that. You got to shore up money somewhere, and this is where the 1-year rentals, and we're going to get into that, but the 1-year rentals come into play, and I feel like that it just needed to happen. A lot of people were speculating, saying that his antics off the field, not the whole situation with him and Slay, but just his image and everything that they didn't like as the organization, which I don't agree. I don't think so, because they wouldn't have brought him back because he was doing that in 2022. But overall, man, I just think that it was the right move to do. Did I like it? No, because like you said, he fit the culture. And you just needed that aggressiveness. And I feel like he made the whole secondary, like one of my favorite moments was 2. First moment was when they decided, a team decided to get the, I don't know who they were playing, but they decided to get the ball. And CJ was like, oh, they think we're suckers out here. All right, we're going to make sure that they don't score. And everybody like took that energy onto the field. They didn't score. Second one was, of course, when he chip tackled Travis Kelce, and then Travis Kelce got up like he was about to do something, and he had his hands behind his back because he remembered what happened in that Commanders game in Week 16. So that's my 2, because that's also set the tone. Like, oh, CJ coming to play. So now everybody's tackling. You even had 34-year-old Slay out there tackling. So it was just a beautiful thing to watch CJ Garner Johnson on this team. But you just thinking like, oh, he has a 8-year hit this upcoming season, and then he have 11-year hit after that. You'd be thinking like, all right, maybe after next year he'll probably be out of here. But to have him out of here right away, that it didn't make sense to me. But I know as of right now, as we stand today, it's starting to all make sense. Just understanding where Harry's head was before all this happened.
I won't tell you that it makes sense to me. I mean, it does make sense to me, but it's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh, I know exactly why they did it, because it was a cash move, right? They're obviously trying to free up cash. And we know that it's not about today. It's about how we're trying to be competitive today and tomorrow, right? And we got big names that they have to sign. So we know that aspect of it. And you're right. I don't know if he fit the culture as much as he was the culture, or brought the attitude, the dog mentality that we really lacked and need on that defense. Like, he brought that out of people. But we tend to, and I love CJGJ. I do. I'm not saying I don't. When they re-signed him, I was stoked. I mean, both times he was on this roster, they got to the chip. It's that simple, right? But I think sometimes we tend to just fall in love with players where we love their attitude, where we love that dog mentality. Because again, we talked about how Philadelphia embraced Brandon Graham, and we bonded with Brandon Graham for different reasons. But with CJGJ, we bonded with him too. We embraced him too, because he's emotional, and he's a playmaker, and he's a ball hawk, and he gave us a dimension in the defense that we haven't had for a little while. So I think we just tend to fall in love with that emotionally. I don't think he's irreplaceable. I think Howie knows. I think most importantly, Vic Fangio knows. If we think Vic didn't have any say in any of this, if we think Howie made this move and didn't go to Vic and say, hey, you just had the number one defense, who was really pulling the levers? What was most important to you? Can you survive without CJGJ? If we think Howie didn't have that conversation and Vic didn't sign off on it, I think we're mistaken. So I think that should tell you a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's a good player. He's an emotional player. But his reaction to the trade, where he talked about his conversation with the Eagles and Howie, and they called him up and he said, nah, it's all love. Just get me to a place where I can win. If CJ felt a certain way, if he felt he was being disrespected, if he felt like this was out of nowhere and made zero sense, he would have said it. That's the type of player he is. He'll go off. He'll fly off the handle. We know that. He didn't do that. He threw nothing but flowers at the Eagles and Howie Roseman and how they handled everything. So from that perspective, I say it's no bad blood. It's just the NFL. It's a business. He understood that. Howie's got a job to do, and that's to keep this team competitive, and he's trying to do that.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. DV said he wasn't gonna question. I'm gonna question every move I don't understand. That's the only way I can get the answer, right? You know what I mean? Because looking at it at the moment, still looking at it at the moment, I'm like, we haven't replaced that production. I love Sydney.
We haven't even gotten to the draft yet, though.
No, I know that, but
right?
I mean, it was safeties out there. People was like, "Hey, we could have got." It was a many of guys I thought on the market that would have fit. You know, as far as what we're looking for.
There still is. There's still a handful out there, so don't be surprised if they still add one.
I don't think it's one that I like no more, though.
No. Who did you want? Just in terms of like the guy? Is it Reed? Is that the guy you were eyeing up?
Yeah, Justin Reed was probably the top of the list.
Right.
I would have took and where he went. I think he came from. It was another safety. I have to look at it.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 or 3 safeties. I was like, okay, if you could pick them up, and I just watched them like. And it wasn't like they went for a lot. I mean, nobody made a lot of money. It was just like, all right, okay, well, they're gonna eventually, bring somebody in. And then everybody wants Justin Simmons, and I'm like, dude's gonna be like 32 when the season starts.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll take him on a 1-year deal. Again, if they're going to be handing out 1-year deals, and Simmons, who has familiarity with Vic Fangio and the style of defense, if you need him as a stopgap, fine. There's still Blackman out there who's, I think he's like 26 years old, athlete. Again, on a 1-year deal, a flyer. There's guys that they can still go add. But I guess the point that I want to make is you don't understand the trade. I don't understand the trade. None of us understand the trade. Like that part I get, right? We don't understand it. But how we preface this whole thing with, hey guys, patience. It's gonna look unconventional. But I promise you, the offseason does not come and go with just free agency. We got to get to a draft. We got to get to OTAs and mini camps and training camp. Let's find out who gets cut from other rosters. Let me maneuver the cap a little bit, which he's actively doing. So I think once it clicked in my head that I said, oh damn, this doesn't make sense. Wait a minute, Howie told me it wouldn't make sense. Okay, he's got a plan. I don't know what his plan is, but we know Howie has a plan. So I'm just going to sit back and say, well, it doesn't make sense to me, Howie. You're working on this a hell of a lot more than I am. You know all the particulars and details, and you know what you're trying to accomplish. Go ahead, my guy.
And that's the whole thing. It's like the unknown, the uncertainty. Like, for instance, we talk about the safety room, and a lot of people aren't too fine about Sidney Brown. But I'm like, Sidney Brown has to get a shot. I was just watching your video, and you made a couple points that I was making. Certain guys has to play. We big up, we big up these players that leave. Like you said Hassan Reddick, you said all these other guys, and look at what it got us. Hassan Reddick left. Yes, we made it to a Super Bowl with him, but we just won a Super Bowl without him. Milton Williams filled in for Javon Hargrave gracefully. But that's what I'm saying, that you got to give these guys a shot, and I'm happy. And this is why I'm happy about the moves that we made, the 1-year rentals and everything like that.
The difference is the guys that stepped in. We kind of seen it coming though. Like me and you had conversation when Javon Hargrave was here. Like Milton Williams gonna step in perfectly. We had conversations of Quinyon and Coop and all those guys stepping in and it fitting perfectly. We didn't have a question with those guys. So we got a question with Sidney.
But did you see Mauro Jomo play this year?
I'm
looking at him saying, all right, that guy can step in. I think that guy's ready to step in.
But that's kind of like what I'm saying. Like it was when we was looking at the plan before, you looked at the roster and said, okay, when this leave, we got people we trust because we seen what they've done on the field to get on the field. Like when Javon Hargrave leave, we were like, oh, Milk can step in and do that. Milk can step in and run that. Now we're looking at the same thing. We're like, Moro Jomo can step in. When Hassan Reddick left, you were like, okay, Nolan doing all right. What is he going to look like with the snaps? But I believe he's going to be good. I think the consensus with Sydney is like, the last time we've seen him, he looked confused. And a lot of people is, like the injury, he bad tackling. They all, to an extent, I watched people compare him to like CJ. Like,
yeah, I'll push back a little bit. Not necessarily saying, because I agree with you on Sidney Brown. A hell of an athlete, plays a little reckless. Can he stay healthy? But he's a hell of a special teamer. And Vic Fangio has said the first way to identify talent is, can they play special teams? Like if they're a standout special teamer, okay, they got a chance. They got a chance on one side of the football. So we already know that he's that. But I'll push back a little bit and say, yeah, I mean, we knew we had Milton Williams on the roster. I didn't know Milton Williams was going to fill in as admirably. And it was because Milton Williams is some $26 million a year defensive tackle, or is it because he's playing next to Jalen Carter, who's soaking up double teams all day long? I didn't think that Milton Williams, and even if we say, hey, we thought Milton Williams was going to come in and be XYZ, I mean, he never made the Pro Bowl. He gave you 5 sacks last year, a productive defensive tackle.
We didn't say he was coming to be like that. We thought at least serviceable. We thought
serviceable, absolutely serviceable. And I think Moro Jomo will be serviceable. I think when we lost Hassan Reddick, I was kind of one of the guys saying, like, I don't know, you might want to pay that dude. Until I saw what the defense looked like without him, and we had some gap integrity, and because I didn't trust Nolan Smith. It took me to get through a couple games this year to say, hold on, guy's showing up. He's on the stat sheet every week. Okay, he's getting to the quarterback. This was a year where he kind of really opened, and then we got this dude Jalix Hunt. Well, hold on, where the hell did this guy come from, right?
Maybe I'm by myself then. Yeah, maybe I'm speaking for the masses. And I'm by myself.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're really not wrong.
Hey, I was the one back at DV right here. Both of the dudes you talk about right now, I was like, bro, they're gonna step in and they're gonna fill the shoes.
Man, I was tired of Nolan Smith go smooth. I'm telling you that right now.
And what we did, DV, we saw him for an hour one day, and I was like, bro, he put it together, bro, he finna get it.
And I'm like, no, man. I see the videos. He's working out with other defensive ends and everything like that, but he's still like doing that ghost move. They pancaking him. They making sure he don't get to the quarterback. But I feel like that this year was different because number one, he got the reps. That and he earned them, over a guy that was making $17 million last year that we're trying to get off our team now. But then also you had BG backing you up, and then when BG went out, it felt like that he just took it to himself, like, hey, I got to step up, and that's what he did. I feel like that it lit a fire under him, and then he was getting pointers, outside looking in. BG's like, hey, won't you try do this? Because I seen them working out on some practices too, just sitting there, just talking and everything. So I know he was more of a mentor of Nolan Smith, and that's what got him through. That's why he was sitting in the back of his retirement speech. But yeah, I didn't know who Jalix Hunt was. I'm like, who's this guy?
Project.
And then they was like, yeah, and I'm like, this is a project. But then when I found out that he went from safety to DE, I'm like, oh, I see what Vic Fangio wants. Okay, cool. That's his guy. And look, I'm happy that he's on his squad. I'm happy that everything fell into place the way it did. That I was comfortable, departing with Josh Sweat, just knowing that how we trust Vic's vision. So I feel like that if we go into the drafting the way we were the last couple of years, I think we'll be fine. But then that's before we got the free agents.
Right. I mean, and it's incredibly deep. It's just a draft. We have no idea, but it's an incredibly deep draft when it comes to linemen, tackles, edges. So they have the opportunity to add, right? There's going to be bodies, and they got 20 picks over the next 2 years. So they're going to be able to stockpile. They'll swing and miss on some guys. They'll move up and down the draft board, try to target some guys. Maybe again, maybe even a trade in the works or a conversation he's eyeing up or keeping tabs on. So I don't think that this team is done. Again, remember at this point last year, I said this earlier, at this very point where we're sitting here right now, Smitty, and we're saying, look, I don't know who's going to fill in. I don't necessarily like this guy, or I don't like that depth. At this very point last year, we didn't have Coop and we didn't have Quignon. And I said this earlier, we didn't know who Zach Bond was. We didn't know if Mekhi Becton was going to fill in. We didn't have Jalix Hunt yet. So to act like
I said, I might be the outlier. I might be the one that was up here preaching praise. I thought it was more than just me, but
No,
I believed in back then. The only person
So
you
did
can
I.
say that I didn't believe in was Zach Bond, but that was because I didn't know he was coming in to play linebacker. But I said he was going to be a good special teams. I said he would be a good situational pass rusher. Now, if you want to say
But I didn't
somebody
see
that
all
showed
pro.
up that I didn't believe in would have been cool.
Yeah.
That'd have been the only person on all the 11 defense players that I was like,
Why not?
But
Why not?
I was under the consensus. He playing out. People say he's playing outside. I watched the tape. He wasn't great outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought at the time we had drafted Quinyon Mitchell. It has nothing to do with color.
It does for me.
It does for me. We drafted Quinyon Mitchell, and then when I looked at I say, okay, we got Coop, we got Edgerrin Cooper right here. We need a linebacker because, like you said, at this time that year, we did not know what Zach Bond was going to be. Correct. So I thought Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond, and whoever it was going into the season, I was not safe with that. So I thought bringing in a young running back in the second round in Edgerrin Cooper would have hit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I was at. It wasn't Cooper DeJean the player. It was Cooper DeJean the position. I didn't think we needed another DB because I was kind of high on bringing in, Edgerrin Cooper, and I thought, okay, we got Edgerrin Cooper, we got Quinyon, we got Darius, we can find a nickel, and then we had Avante and a few other guys on the roster. So I'm like, if worst case scenario, me and DB had the conversation, we could, if we can't find a suffice piece, you could slide CJ to nickel. You could slide somebody up top.
You could. This team has struggled for years though to find that slot corner. And I'll clean something up real quick where I said it was about him being a white DB, because for me it was, and I'm just being honest with you. It wasn't that I didn't think the kid could play. It was that, all right, but we're really breaking the mold here. And I'm saying, is he the outlier? Like, I hope so, maybe, and it sure looks like that at Iowa. But when you get up to the NFL, it's a whole nother level. Like, okay, are the odds stacked against us? Probably, but obviously Howie, like we saw, he moved up. I also thought it was interesting because for years and years, at least dating back to 2020, they started getting this rhythm of draft the SEC, draft the Bama, Georgia, boom, 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 right? Get big time program players in here. And last year he goes to Toledo, he goes to Iowa, he goes to Houston Christian. I'm thinking, no, here we go. We're dipping back, but he nailed all three of them again. So like all I mean to say in the whole conversation is that I'm more intrigued about all the picks he has in the draft and the players that could be there. Last year, I didn't think we were going to come out of that with Coop or one or the other, right? Maybe you get Quinyon, maybe you get Coop, you'll get one. I didn't think we were coming out with both. So we'll see how he navigates this year and what kind of surprises he has in store.
It's kind of the way the draft fell too. Like, how everybody was just picking. And it's almost like they were playing to see what Howie was going to do. Everything just dropped down, and everybody had Quinyon going to us anyway. But they didn't think that he was going to make that move out, and that's what I figured because of the cornerbacks that we had on the squad. We didn't know because people are looking, and at that time, I should say, they like James Bradbury is still a guy to watch, and we was like, no, he's on basically a healthy scratch, and then he hurt himself, and then let's just have it that he hurt himself. But at the same time, I didn't think we was going to get Coop when he moved up. I'm like, all right, we get Edgerrin Cooper, we getting him.
Wrong Coop.
That's what we said. We both said the same thing. We was like the wrong Coop. It wasn't about his color or anything like that. We knew he can ball, but I was like, okay, where do he fit if we got both of them on the outside? If we still had Slay at the time, so then I'm like, all right, let's see where they put him. I said, all right, you could put him in the safety position, but then where does that leave Reed Blankenship? I'm thinking about everywhere that you could put this guy, and they left him at as soon as he got back from injury and the communication in the backfield got better. I said, oh, they made the right decision. I ain't gonna say nothing about Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, right. So all right, so what now then? With Darius Slay going over to Pittsburgh, obviously there's a hole on the other side. Maybe they'll address it. I mean, they brought in
I slightly disagree with that statement though, DV, but
go ahead. Let's not switch topics then. Go ahead.
We made the right decision.
Where would you have kept?
I think one was in a better predicament than the other one. I think Edgerrin Cooper got stuck with a shitty defense, and Cooper DeJean got stuck with some dogs.
I understand that.
If I'm not
But
mistaken,
remember,
Green Bay defense was like 20 something.
Yeah, but that was a bad
Right.
defense before Coop got in the
I'm
slot.
not when I say
No. What I'm saying. Green Bay was bad before he got on the field. Like
when I said that we made the right.
If you put Edwin Cooper on this defense, you don't think he performs better than he did for Green Bay?
He would, but I don't think this defense. I don't think Vic Fangio's defense becomes the number one defense without Coop in the slot. Right. Once Coop came back from injury, like that defense flipped. Once Coop got put in the slot, and everything just started to click. Remember, after like we were going into the bye week. Now, a lot of our angst was still with the offense, but we were going to that bye week saying, all right, this does not look like a championship team. This doesn't even look like a playoff team. We were all frustrated, right? But right as Coop DeJean got healthy and they inserted him into that lineup, boom, hold on. Something happened with the defense to where we all started focusing on the offense. It's just the offense we're going to talk about because that defense was locking people down. And I don't think it was a coincidence that it lined up with when Coop DeJean took over the slot. That's all I mean to say. Right.
And when I said that we got the right Coop, I wasn't comparing the two. Because they two different positions. We don't know how it would have went if Edwin Cooper was on the Eagles instead of Cooper DeJean. But what I'm saying is at that time when we were 2-2 and they actually was like, all right, Coop, get in. And remember, me and you both said Avonte Maddox just looked lost out there. He didn't even look like that. He knew what was going on. And soon as Coop got in, everything just switched. And then it was like, okay, he knew where to be at. He started making plays. And as he got healthy, you saw it. That I think it was the last preseason game or something that he was in. And he didn't really look too well. He looked slow. He looked a tad bit slow. He had a little bit of rust. But as he got more equipped to that Vic Fangio scheme, you seen that was a piece that we needed for that season. That's what I was saying. It wasn't more about comparing the two of what we needed at the time, but in the season before he got in, we was like, all right, that's why I said they made the right decision to bring him in. I don't know if they had it falling like that, but that's basically what happened.
So we're talking about Coop and him in the slot, but obviously, so what I was getting at was with D Slay going to Pittsburgh. Now you have a hole on the other side of the field. Do you take the risk and move Coop to the outside to see if he could play? Do you think Coop wants to play the outside? Do you keep him in the slot and try to work that other outside position? What do you guys do with Coop this year?
I think Coop should stay where he is. Honestly, I think that he's great right there. Him and guys like Zach Bond and everything you've seen in the Super Bowl got great chemistry when they having communication issues. They always know where each other is. I feel like that it's going to be how it looks right now, because it's a long off season. The guy we just got from the Giants, he's going to actually put some competition over there with guys like Kelee Ringo. Even though Christian Parker, Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni basically all said that the guy is ready to Kelee Ringo, but he has to earn it. Vic Fangio is not going to just give somebody the spot. So I feel like that's why bringing him. What's his name? Adoree Jackson. Ahkello Witherspoon. Yeah, Adoree Jackson.
Yeah. Adoree Jackson.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been somebody that was on Howie's radar for a minute. So I feel like that, they could just battle it out to see who's going to have that spot. But yeah, I would keep Coop where he is. I think that, he made a killing over there, and hopefully he look at that Carolina Panthers tape, man, over and over again to see, because that was like the worst game one of his early worst games of the season. And yeah, I feel like that, he just need to watch that so he can just tighten up some things.
Smitty, what are you doing? Slot, outside? Here's why I asked the question, Smitty, because you see what Derek Stingley just signed for. You see what these outside corners are getting. So I follow the money. And I say, well, if I'm a slot corner, but I see these guys are getting $30 million a year on the outside, I'm going to go try the outside. And I just wonder if he internally is saying, hey, coach, I can play the outside, right? Because he's going to have to get the bag at some point. I think you'd rather be an outside. But where I was going with that, Smitty, is I don't know if that necessarily behooves the team.
No, I don't think outside. I don't know. It comes down to a situation where the best performance is going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him outside, so I can't really give like the consensus in the NFL. looking at like the tape in the college, he didn't play a lot of outside, played a lot of slot, safety, a lot of hybrid type positions. So I would keep him where he at. But if it works, it works. Then I don't know if I prefer to be looking for a position at the slot than position outside. A lot of these receivers not even playing outside no more. So it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, but then my question is, like, even if you put Coop on the outside, who's going to be in the slot?
Look to the draft. Look to the draft. Yeah, I don't know. They have holes, right?
But I think you got a better chance to get, in my opinion, could be wrong. I've been wrong by a lot of shit. But in my opinion, you'd be better off getting outside corner in this draft than a slot.
Yeah. I mean, which I certainly could.
What do you guys think about the whole signing of Joshua Uche and Azeez Ojulari?
Well, I mean, they fit that Howie urge to get me, guys who are high draft picks, young, athletic. Got them on a 1-year deal. So like Howie does a lot of that. He likes to find high pedigree guys that maybe didn't work out, bring them in. He's been loading the roster with those type of contracts, those type of guys recently. You've seen it. You've seen those guys flash with Ojulari. Can he stay healthy? He's struggled to do that. With Uche, he's got a hell of a bend, man. He gets, everybody saw what he did in 2022, but he couldn't replicate that in 23, 24. Can he find that? Can they find lightning in a bottle? Maybe. So I think what they're doing with both of those guys is low risk, high reward, swing, just keep swinging. You're bound to hit on one of them. But to be honest with you, neither of them have shown anything to this point other than flash, other than, okay, you have the athletic ability, but can you put it all together? That's what they have the opportunity to do.
Josh Uche got a year of where he showed he could do it. 2022.
Right. But can't stay. Yeah, but 2023 flat, 2024 flat.
But 2023, half the defensive line get hurt. 24, they trade Matt Judon. He's stuck by himself with the limited amount. And then you trade him to Kansas City halfway through the season, and then they barely give him snaps over a dude that's not producing shit.
I love it. Yeah. That's context.
Well, me personally, I think Josh Uche is going to recreate 2022 because of what we have here. It's not about, I don't think 23 and 24 about what he had left. I think it's about what the team had left. And when you're a subpar, right? When you're a medium level type player, but you're the best player on a defensive line, your production is going to drop because guess what? Those defenses are now planning for you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about that anymore, Josh. You come into a team, the Philadelphia Eagles, where you get a chance to say, hey, they're not planning for me. They worry about Jalen Carter. They worry about Nolan. They worry about Zach Bond. They worry about Jordan Davis. They're not worried about me. But the one person I was confused about was Adoree Jackson. And that's the one person, when I look at the tape, I look at the numbers, I say, you just don't stick out, in my opinion. I think the two best signings was Azeez and Uche. Mm-hmm. When I look at Adoree Jackson, I'm like, what is he here for? I don't think he competes for the outside spot as a starter. I think his best position for us is probably going to be rotational and special teams. So did you really just go out there and like get a dude for special teams? Probably not. They probably going to give him an opportunity. I just don't like what I see from Adoree on tape. He's undisciplined. He's risky. He take a lot of risk and don't get a lot of reward. Because if you look at his interceptions numbers, they low. But he's taking a lot of risk to get interceptions that he's not getting. I don't need a superhero. I need somebody to come in and fits in the picture. Don't want to be the picture.
So fall back on this idea that, because I agree with you, I'm not an Adoree Jackson fan. I'm just not, and that's fine, right? Again, I think it's just another swing from Howie on a high pedigree guy that hasn't worked out in other areas. What I'm falling back on is the idea that Vic has said this. I'm playing the best dudes. Like if you follow my instruction, if you follow the I guess the guidelines and the guardrails of my defense and what I'm asking you to do, You're going to
Right.
play for me, right? So if Adoree Jackson falls into this, trying to get greedy, a lot of what Hassan Reddick did in 2023 that kind of killed this defense, right? Vic ain't putting up for that. Like you ain't gonna last long on Vic's defense. He's gonna put the guys in there that know how to communicate, know how to pass coverage, that know how to operate as a unit. And if Adoree ain't falling in on that, or if it's Uche, or if it's Azeez or Jalari, whoever that is, Vic's going to put the best 11 guys on the field. Howie's just giving him as much ingredients as he can so you can figure out the meal, bro. Like, go here, take whoever you think and get what you can out of them, and then we're going to put the best 11 on the field. So from that perspective, at least, I have a little faith in Vic to say he'll figure out who really wants to play and who doesn't.
And not just Vic. I think that Christian Parker can squeeze the lemon as well, and make sure that he's a Super Bowl winning positional coach. Whereas though that he's seen certain things that he probably messed up on, or he didn't probably prepare his guys for that he's going to be ready for in year 2 with the Eagles. But I do think
players though, DB, for that.
Exactly. So that's the question. Is Adoree coachable? That's the question.
He had a position in his career where I think what you see is what you get. Like, I don't think he's like at that position.
So you don't think he could give you a little bit more? Because they said that he could play 2 positions.
He can play them bad. I mean, but he can play them.
So is it fair? Is it fair though to say who you get drafted by the Titans? Was Adoree Jackson a Titan? I think he was, and then he went off to the Giants, right? So
but
not what I would.
Hold on, Ashworth. I'll take the NFL tape out. I wasn't even excited with him as a prospect.
Okay, fair, right? But
I'll take him out being on bad teams and say, let's go to the tape that we can't argue with. The tape when he was on a decent team. And I was just like,
no, you ain't wrong. I'll say that. I mean, somebody in the NFL was, right? Because obviously they pulled the trigger on him. But where I was going was I wouldn't necessarily call the Titans or the Giants, at least over the last 5 years, quality organization.
Was he on the AFC Championship team though?
With who? AFC Championship team. The Titans won an AFC Championship.
No, they didn't win. I said AFC. They went to the AFC. Remember they lost the Chiefs.
The Titans?
Yeah.
Back with AJ Brown and
AJ Brown.
Who's the homeboy?
This had to be like 2020. AJ Brown.
Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
And Derrick Henry.
Was he on that
Davis.
squad?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
If he was fair, what I was planning on saying in my head was maybe the last few years I look at Tennessee and I say that's a joke of an organization. I look at the Giants as that's a joke of an organization. So part of where you were defending Uche to say, look, there's context behind what maybe why his numbers didn't flash or his numbers didn't pop in 23 and 24, despite playing in an AFC Championship game last year. Same could be said for Adoree Jackson. Bad coaching, bad organization, no talent on the field. So was he kind of just freelancing and didn't have the help where he needed it? I'm not telling you that's what it is. I'm just saying, okay, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens when he plays around some other playmakers or gets a good coaching staff, both from a DB side and an overall coordinator. Is it worth the swing? Maybe. Again, I'm not an Adoree Jackson fan. I'm not. But is it worth the swing? Maybe. Howie obviously feels so.
I think Howie just like swing it at this point. Like, let me get guys that's affordable for me, but I think they have good potential. And if they don't work out, guess what? Look at the contracts. They are completely cuttable.
Yeah.
He's been on Howie's radar though. He's been on that radar.
No, I thought it was Azeez and
no, he's for years.
No, I'm not talking about this year.
I know Azeez we brought in for a top 30. I seen we brought Josh Uche in for a top 30. Didn't we sign somebody else?
That we brought in for a top 30 originally?
Not Adoree, but it was like 3 people that we brought in their draft years for top 30s, and I think we signed all 3 of them.
Howie falls in love, man. You know that.
When he will.
He falls in love. He'll get him one way.
If he got a guy that he really like adores, he locked in on a coordinator that he went back and got. So you know what he do with players.
Yep.
Coordinator's hard to go back and get.
I know.
Because they don't, if they performing well, it's hard to get them out of there if they don't want to be head coaches. You know what I mean? They usually stay where they at. So it's almost like he'll circle back for court. He waited for Vic patiently. Like he's eventually gonna lose his job, or he'll whenever he does, we'll get him back. So
I was happy that they made that move though, because I was like, yo, these young guys gonna need some discipline, and bringing these young guys in, and we know how great they are, but at the same time, getting them to play together within a scheme, and how everybody just was. They took what Vic was dishing out. I was like, I love the fact that he's like old school, the way he coaches and everything like that. Whereas though it was a total 360 from what he was dealing with the Dolphins and what was displayed to the public. So yeah, I was just happy about
the Dolphins too. Like, how soft are y'all? Because they were talking about he coaches too hard, don't like this, don't like that, and they were bad. They weren't a good team. So when he came over, you're right. I like old school mentality. I'm an old head, right? I like the old school coaching. It's just to me, that's football, right? And when he came over, and obviously he got the benefits of it, right? Everybody bought in. For me, it just screamed, oh, okay, that's that championship mentality. That's why you go out and draft Georgia kids. That's why you go out and get Bama kids, because those are the best of the best. They want the best pulled out of them. So they just latched on to what he was teaching. But it made me think the whole time, like, what is going on in Miami? How do you not like gravitate to a guy like that that's trying to get the very best out of you? You're talking about practice is too hard. He's coaching you too hard. There's a reason that y'all ain't competing.
Right. What do y'all think about Nakobe Dean being out and Trot Jr. starting? What do y'all think about that? As of right now, he will probably.
I don't think it's 100% that Dean out though.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying the whole season.
Dean said in his podcast with Shannon and what's it called, he was getting ready to start running.
He can say whatever he wants. I'm telling you, man. I've torn my knees up. Now, granted, I ain't Nakobe Dean. I'm not a professional athlete. I've had 4.
I thought it's patella though.
No. Yeah, I've had ACLs, meniscus. I haven't done a patella because I know how bad that's worse than an ACL. Yeah. My man, he may be clear to start running. He may be on the mend and things may be positive. He ain't gonna be right week 1. He ain't gonna be right week 2. He ain't gonna be right halfway through the season. He may be able to get on the field. And look, modern medicine is different, and guys get back a lot quicker. I get all that, especially when you have the training regimen they have and that 24/7 care. It takes a minute, bro. It not only will it cost him a half step, and this is a guy that's a little undersized, can't get caught up in the line, right? Has to be able to read and react. And when he doesn't have that initial burst, whether that's because he doesn't trust it or because it's just not there and it's going to take a solid, he may be ready to put the pads on 9 months in. It may take him 12 months it may take him 15 months before he feels like I'm back to myself. I personally wouldn't be surprised.
No. If he start week 1, I don't believe he'll be 100%. No,
I don't even think he'll be close to 100%. I really, in terms of what we expect out of Nakobe Dean, what we saw this year, I think was him starting to really.
Y'all didn't even expect that though. Let's be real. Yeah, you can't. Nobody expected that. I did again.
No, you've been rocking with Nakobe Dean since
day 1.
He got here, yeah. So yeah.
So I mean, I don't know where I'm at because it's like I want to believe him when he say, "Hey, look, I might be ready week 1."
I'm just not hanging my hat on it. I hope to God.
I don't believe he got people around him that's telling him something that ain't true.
The doctors is not going to allow that.
The doctors ain't. But he said the doctor told him it's a possibility he ready week 1.
No.
Which doctor?
So that's not what I mean.
His doctor or the organization doctor?
Well,
I don't know. I can't speak for that, but he wouldn't be on a podcast. He was on with Shannon Sharp and Ocho. He said, "My doctor's telling me good news. It looked like it might be week 1."
That's fine. And I'm just telling you, he may be cleared to play. And that's what the doctors are telling you. Like, you are physically cleared to play. Your knee is like, you're strong. You're rehabbed. You're good to go. You can go ahead and play it and do whatever you want. There's 2 things he's going to have to figure out real quick. One, and this is the hardest part, mentally trusting it. That's the hardest part with a knee injury or any injury, just playing free and not worrying about, do I stick my leg in the ground? Do I do it? Just playing free? That's going to be that's the hardest challenge for him mental. The second part is when he does get to that point, or even, I don't even want to say it happens when he gets to that point, but he's going to have to, he's going to lose half a step, at least initially, because you don't have as much of a burst. You don't have as much of a read and react. You are a little timid. And even when you do go to burst, it doesn't quite burst the way that he can get back to it. Whether he's cleared to play week 1 or not, I don't think he's anywhere close to it. I wouldn't be surprised, genuinely. I wouldn't be surprised if 2025 was just a down year for Nakobe, and then we went into 2026 with question marks about, all right, is Nakobe going to return to form? I don't know. I hope so, because some injuries just take that long, and I fear that a patellar tendon injury is one of them. That's just my personal fear, having gone through way too many knee surgeries.
So do you go into the draft thinking linebacker, or do you like the room that you have now?
It's not that I don't like the room. I would have re-signed Oren Burks because of it. I liked him. I think he felt in. He wasn't expensive. I think he filled in admirably. He would have been a guy that knew the system and just kind of. Now he wanted to go get some money in Denver, and he did that. Right, it was Denver. I think he went to. But so good for him, right?
Bengals.
Oh, Bengals. I'm sorry, Bengals. You're right. So he went and got some cash. Good for him. No, I'm not comfortable going into the season with Zach Bond and Trot Jr. Me personally. So I think that they'll add. They re-signed Van Sumeren. Now, whether they're going to have him at fullback or give him linebacker responsibilities, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them add another backer, at least for competition. Maybe they'll wait till they get to training camp and somebody gets cut, kind of like a Devin White situation, right? And it kind of happens later in the year. I don't know. But for me and my money, that core is a little thin right now.
Yeah, I don't like the linebacker room at all. I'm happy Zach Bond is back, but you need somebody to play with him. I think Nakobe Dean out of everybody played best, and then Oren Burke stepped in effortlessly. I did have my questionings, but to Oren Burke's defense, year removed, like he got into the Super Bowl, and that's the last time I saw him really. He got into the Super Bowl when he was with the 49ers, just off of an injury, and then I think that was Greenlaw, right?
Dre Greenlaw, yeah, that was the cat that went to Denver.
He got in, and they started to tear him apart.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that he wasn't the best pass coverage linebacker, and they basically just going right at him. And I'm like, yo, I do not need him in here going against Patrick Mahomes again. Mm-hmm. But defense had other things up their sleeve that I didn't even think was possible.
Right. I'll tell you, I feel a hell of a lot better about the group knowing Zach Bond's a part of it, right? So, I mean, they got that going for them. But I think just for them to be special, I think they're going to need, at least, they're just going to need quality linebacker play. And maybe, as we've said, when we started the show earlier, we were talking about, Milton Williams and Ajomo filled in. And when Hassan Reddick left, there was Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith. Maybe that's Trot, right? Maybe they're sitting back saying, no, guys, I know you don't see it right now, but Trot Jr. is going to step in and we're going to be just fine until Nakobe can get back on track. So maybe they are fine. And this is just that position group. I mean, every year we talk about linebackers, but maybe this is just that position group on the defense that we have our eyes on saying, all right, how are they going to handle that? How are they going to address that? And maybe they're fine and we don't know it.
Darlene, we have a guest. Act accordingly. I don't want to have to kick you again like I did last week, okay?
Cowboys.
Darlene's our local Dallas fan who comes.
I can't even read
delusional.
It. What'd she say?
Okay. Exactly. It don't even matter. It doesn't make sense. If I read it to you, it doesn't make sense.
You out.
I just got done talking to an expert on football, a coach. I know a pro. He said that the Dallas Cowboys and they picked up and free America defense. Tell me what that means. Tell me.
Now I'm gonna lean on you guys. You have more experience.
You know why I blocked Darlene? Because Darlene will sit here for 20 minutes and blow up the chat, and none of it's readable. None of it's digestible for the English language, and it's just kind of almost aggravating. The Arlington, Texas community needs to help Darlene out. Okay, we won a Super Bowl, and Darlene was sitting here every week. We saw it on this show and said, "I think the Eagles are going to lose this week. I think the Eagles are going to lose this week. I think they're going to lose this week." And then we won, and you came back and said, "You know what? I think everybody else was just, subpar. But Patrick Mahomes is gonna do it. He's gonna blow you out." And then you didn't show up for a week, and then you didn't show up for the next week, and then now you're here, Darlene, for the last 2 weeks. I had to block you last week because you tried to come on here with that Dak Prescott rhetoric and say, "We one off season away from beating you guys and being in the NFC Championships ourselves." No, you're not. No, you're not.
Bro, Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels were both born and played in NFC Championship games more recently than Dallas has been in one. So they're down bad. They're reaching and they're gripping, trying to get their hands on anything they can. Two NFC East teams playing in an NFC chip, and Dallas is still scratching and clawing and dusting the dust off the trophy.
And every time that come up, I'm like, in 2022, that should have been them. That should have been them beating us in the NFC Championship. But they couldn't beat the 49ers.
Correct. That's on them, not us.
Right.
Oh, 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row they couldn't beat those.
Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed every minute of it too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna act like I didn't. Every minute. Yeah, no doubt.
Millisecond. I was like, he got fat again. Hey,
right.
Looks like they're gonna lose this one.
Right.
And then I didn't like the Niners after that. So
I've never, dude. I have in recent memory. I've always, because I've said this for years, I've always appreciated the 49ers. It's a great organization. This is me, 3 years ago. Great organization, great history. Like just iconic. They're iconic in the NFL, right? And I've always had great respect for that, just organization. Now, I already told you I'm an old head, so I'm kind of an old school guy. So maybe I'm just kind of remembering the old Niners. But even when they had Harbaugh and they were just winning, playing smash mouth foot, like I like that style. Never have I flipped on an organization more than when this batch of 49ers started running their gums, getting all cocky, coming out with the boom boxes, acting all tough and high and mighty, and just constantly falling flat. And then you want to chirp at us because we fall flat in the Super Bowl, and then you fall flat in the Super Bowl. And then what happened this year, right? You guys just get dismantled as an organization and as a team. The fan base is just always yapping, always got something to say. Get out my mentions. Like, shut up. I have never flipped on an organization more thanks to their fan base and the way that their players are in the media than I have with the 49ers over it. I have zero, just like as of today, zero respect for them, man. I can't stand the 49ers. Can't stand them.
49ers.
Can't stand them. And I never said that my entire life. Last 3 years, get off my lawn.
It didn't happen until they opened their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today act like, did they act? The problem for me for that NFC Championship game was the fact that they act like Brock Purdy never played on the field. He never suited up. He never put a helmet on.
Bro.
He never put his cleats on.
We knocked him out the game. Like I knocked you and your backup out of the game. It wasn't like you went into the game without one, like QB1 and QB2. I knocked them both out of the game. What are you crying about? Well, if we would have had a quarterback, you had two of them. We beat both their asses. What are you crying about? Such a tired
because Christian McCaffrey almost had to play quarterback in the fourth quarter because it was 31-7. We had to throw somebody in.
Talk to your coach. This is why you hold a third quarterback on the roster. You had the opportunity. Talk to your coach. Nope. Don't want to hear it.
Well, they created that rule though. That season created that stupid rule.
Just like the Packers want to get rid of the tush push. When people
I was going to go there.
Right? When teams find something.
It against me though. That's what don't make sense to me. You used it twice successfully.
With their tight end too. The team's using it with tight ends.
But see, they got hurt. They got hurt doing it. That's what they're not telling you. They got hurt doing it.
And they report it.
Yeah, I don't think because I think didn't Troy Vincent come out and say there weren't? Maybe there was one. There weren't zero. Right?
They said it was zero. Yeah, but they said that they got hurt.
Yeah, hurt feelings.
Packers.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Hurt feelings.
It's the same thing. The other rule, the other rule that came out, if you guys noticed, there because there was two of them they highlighted, and the first one was the Detroit Lions. They wanted to change defensive holding instead of it being an automatic first down. They wanted it just a 5-yard penalty, right?
Right.
Well, that's convenient because over the last 3 years, you know who the number one team in defensive holding penalties is by a long shot? Yeah. The Detroit Lions. And the gap between them and everybody else in the NFC North is so much that you change that rule and it affects the Lions more than any other team. It's a competitive advantage for the Lions at this point based on the defense they play, the style that they play. There's no way you could pass it. It's just teams like to bitch about things that they can't stop or things that they get caught up in. Packers are doing it now. The Lions are doing it now. The Niners did it then. It's just it's the way it is.
It's so crazy because a lot of people, when we were looking at cornerbacks in the draft, they wanted Tyrion Arnold.
Sure,
people wanted him here.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't.
No,
and that's,
I'm not saying us. I'm
being
saying
a Bama
people
guy.
wanted him here.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted a corner, right? And he was one of those high profile. We're drafting a lot of Bama guys. Get me SEC players. I loved Quinyon just from the measurables and the. I'm not acting like I saw a Toledo video. Right. I wasn't going out there scouting Toledo, but just from what you saw, the way people spoke about him. Coming from a small school, you're going to speak that big on a guy and say that, oh no, he's ready for this stage. No, I was good on him. I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, unlike my boy Jason, I watched that tape.
Did you?
And I said, if they grab Terrion Arnold, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out because Terrion Arnold is not good, in my opinion. He's too handsy. He doesn't really have coverage ability. It's all like grabbing you and being aggressive. And guess what? College, it works a little bit. Referees aren't like trying to kill you, so let the kid play. NFL, you led the league in penalties.
But see, I kind of feel like that,
rule, right?
I kind of feel like that about Kelee Ringo too. I feel like that when he gets in, he's a little too handsy to the point where it could be calls on him. I remember one time it was a double call on him, and I'm like, yo, he just got in the game.
Darlene, you have a good night, okay?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you should have been to that.
I thought. Listen, Jason, I gave the warning, right?
You gave the warning. It's time to go.
And then you went seven straight messages of nothingness.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Goodbye. We'll talk to you. Yep. We'll talk to you next week.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I think about him. But
yeah, bro, that first, I can't get that first play out of my head, DV. Like, how do you get 2 penalties on your first play?
2 penalties.
You get pass interference and defense holding. Like what?
a year or a year after that removed. Now you're saying, oh, he ready? Like, I need to see this. I need to see him with some snaps and some opportunities so I can see what y'all see. Because right now, I only see special teams. He played well last year. Special teams. Besides that,
he had one play. We got to give him the one play, DV.
You talking about back against
the Browns? He playing like safety. He playing like corner, but he playing way back. They break a little run outside. He boom.
Oh, you talking about that
smash, buddy?
Oh, okay.
That was like
okay. I mean, they talk high about him though in the building, right? They don't mince words and they don't dance around it. They say, no, we like him, and they call him out by his name, right? And no, we like Kelee. So
I've heard Christian, I've heard AJ.
Yes, I'm saying
you guys have brought him up.
Yeah, Parker's the one saying like, oh no, because they asked him.
Because wasn't that the Super Bowl? And it was like
who's standing
out?
Yeah,
and
he said Kelee. And now maybe he said that because he knew, look, D Slay's not coming back. We're gonna have a hole. I got to build the guy's confidence up. I got to create this illusion that we got a guy ready to step in. No. I mean, because there is coach speak to it, right? There is that angle to it.
When you coaching on the Veggio stand, Jason, you can't do that.
No, I'm not.
Fangio gonna put to the side and be like, you know, buddy, not good.
Why you talking about Kelee like that, bro?
why you got on there? And now when I get back on the stand, they gonna ask me about Kelee, and now I gotta back you up because you my guy.
Right, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Speaking of that, let's segue.
Go ahead.
Let's segue real quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of how Vic talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do it make y'all feel that our guy, the guy that's on the team making $17 million, said that I felt a way when Vic and the fan base actually said what they said to him about him, and that took him out of his game. That took him out of the whole mindset of football. And I'm just paraphrasing, but Bryce Huff did say that. He said that when Vic said he wasn't ready.
So you're saying basically Vic's comments took Huff even lower, like made it even more difficult.
And this was before. And this was before the injury. He said this was before the injury.
Look, I'm okay with it. You got the number 1 defense. So if it doesn't work for Huff, again, certain guys need to be cut out. And maybe Huff needs to play for the Dolphins. Right, because those are the type of guys that seemingly they had on defense. I don't know, but whatever Vic was saying for the other 11 guys, it was working. Right? They put the number 1 defense out on the field, and if you want to be part of that unit, if you want to create something special here, all right, you better get after it. And I'm gonna again, I subscribe to that old school coaching style, that old school football mentality. Not to say that things don't change, but get with it.
I think his feelings was hurt, right? Because that was like week 2. I think his feelings was initially hurt. He bought in. He was like, you know what? Fuck that I'm going to be emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on the field and handle business. Mm-hmm. And then he got on field. He had like 2 back-to-back games where he was like, all right, Huff put it together a little bit. then whatever happens to his wrist, it's like, and then
I know.
during that 5 weeks of him being out, Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith have the greatest leap in history. They turned into almost like all-pro DNs, and he comes back and is like, dang, I want to get him on the field, but these dudes playing otherworldly.
Well, it's one of those things where, again, you trust Vic because he was pulling all the right levers, but Bryce Huff's a guy, let him put his hand in the dirt. Let him get his hand on the ground. That's what he did in New York anyway. That gave him success enough for where they were going to pay him $51 million. And they weren't doing that early anyway. And then once they start letting him put his hand in the ground, now he's getting banged up, and now other guys are stepping up. I guess it's fair to say he's still part of this equation too. I don't know why they would have went out and signed Uche and Azeez Ojulari. That's going to be tough this year. I don't know why they would have went out and got both of them if they had a ton of confidence still in Josh Huff,
right,
and Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff,
man, right? I'm going everywhere right now. But I mean, maybe we need to include him into the conversation of defensive ends and guys who could be difference makers in 25 because he's still on the roster and he still has ability. He just has to find a home.
I think that we should still keep him in a rotation. And bringing those guys in, they probably looking at it as, it could be to light a fire under Bryce Huff to get more snaps, especially because BG's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Sweat's not there. So of course Jalen Hunt might be on that side. So it's like, okay, who's going to be on the opposite side of that at times when Nolan Smith gets tired or so forth? You know what I'm saying? So, we shall see. I think that Bryce Huff is in a decent situation, regardless of what happened last season, only because it's kind of difficult to dump that contract and not hurt ourselves in the long run. That's the only reason.
Anything they do with even a shot is going to have to be post June 1. I don't think that they do that. I mean, maybe they try to find some sort of post June 1 trade where they'll eat a little bit of cap, and maybe that's one of the reasons why Howie was like, all right, sorry, CJ, I can't bring you back because I know I got to post June 1 trade or cut, whatever it may be. I'm gonna have to eat some cap, but I want to free up a roster spot. But one of the things they're going to need to do, whether that's Bryce Huff, whether that's Azeez Ojulari, whether that's Uche, whoever that is, one of the things they're missing in Josh Sweat is a guy, because Josh Sweat played the run really well. He set the edge really well. He wasn't a selfish pass rusher like Hassan Reddick was.
He got better at it because in 22, 23, he wasn't the greatest. And then I think he took it personal, like, I got to get better at this.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Do that, bro. When they like, hey, my game isn't perfect, let me improve. That's what I didn't like about Hassan.
Correct. Well, he was a selfish pass rusher. He wanted one way or the other. And when the defense called for one, maybe they need him to stand up a tackle. Maybe they need him to set a net. No, I'm getting after the quarterback. And then the whole integrity of the defense breaks down. Josh Sweat was really good at doing what the defense asked him to do. We don't need you to rush the passer every down. We don't need you to. It's whatever the call, the design of that defense asked of him. He was really good at doing that. Right, not a great player, but really good at doing. Really good at being a really good player, if that makes sense. So I guess my question is, who's going to be that guy coming in? Because there's a lot of seemingly pass rush specialists that they're going after. Guys who got that bend, that can get after the quarterback. Is there somebody that can stand up a lineman? Is there somebody that can set an edge, stay at home, force movement, keep a quarterback in the pocket type deal? A lot of the guys that they have don't seem to be that type of.
That's how I was going Jalen Hunt
because he's so long, bro.
Yeah,
dude was so long, arms so long.
That's so true. I didn't even think it didn't even click in my head to think Jalen Hunt. It's so true.
To me, I know they brought in all these guys. Josh Uche. Oh, he fits the Josh Sweat bill. They brought in Azeez. Oh, he come and gets at the quarterback like this guy. And I'm like, for Jalen Hunt, if y'all watch him in the Super Bowl, his speed to power combo is almost crazy. Because it was like they put him on Tooney, who's obviously all pro status guy. And now listening to what Josh Sweat saying, like, we didn't really have a goal as edges. They just told us to go get the quarterback. Everything else was going to be handled, right? watching his move set, like not just going in and being like, all right, I'm gonna use one move to beat him. It was like, all right, I can't use this move. I'm gonna use this. And when I seen him bull rush,
He bull rushed him.
Where Tooney was like this, it was no longer I'm blocking you. You're controlling me. He had him like this.
You're controlling me.
I was just like, hey, look, whatever you do with my body at this point is on you. Pause. Just, I can't do anything back. He was so violent at the point of contact where they were like, where I was like, okay, Tooney gonna give him some problems. You know, Tooney's a good guard that's playing tackle, but he's a good offensive lineman in general. He had Tooney at one point on his tippy toes, turned sideways like this.
I want to say twice. I want to say he did it to him twice, didn't he? Like,
I said,
bull rushed him.
I was like, whoa. What's
So, I can see him.
You put Jalen Hunt, but the reason I said it though, hold on before you go. Reason I said it, his safety ability on that edge is going to kick in because he's going to have one of those guys and be like, hold on, he's not really pushing back. Get out of here. Hold on. What run that? Like where to run that? Because you not pushing me. You letting me drive you because you want me to go past the run lane so Duke can go past me. You letting me do this. But that's the one thing I got about Jalen Carter because people were like, oh, Jalen is there. Jalen Carter isn't even playing football yet, guys.
I know.
He's just playing off pure ability and talent.
That dude is scary good. I mean, when Aaron Donald calls him out and said, that's the guy, like he's holding the torch, that's the guy, that's when you know it's the real deal. He's scary good, man. And again, how he knows it. Got a clear space. I got a beast on my squad that I need to make sure stays in midnight green. He ain't going anywhere. So
right.
Gotta
that's what I'm saying.
The
way he's playing and everything like that, he's eligible to make
money
30 mil, something like that.
He could be a guy. He could be a guy literally, and I don't think that he would, but he could be in that conversation as one of those. Oh, now he resets the market for the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, right? But he could be in that conversation. Like that's how good and how impactful he's been. It's I'm glad he's on my squad. I'm glad 8 other teams looked at that and said, "Nah, we're good. Nah, I don't trust it. I'll pass."
7 teams. One team couldn't do it.
One team couldn't do it.
The Raiders, they couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, coming off.
You got to think they were coming off like 2 months removed of that rig situation. They couldn't do it. That was the one team on the board. I was like, nah, they can't touch him. They can't touch him.
You're probably
If they take him. The way the media would have talked about the Raiders and how they pick up felons and they don't care about background. Oh my God.
All right, 7 teams. Fair enough. I'll give you 7 teams. Okay.
Really? Hold on. Technically speaking, 8 because the Bears.
No, they traded up. They trade. Well, yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah, they traded
with us.
Okay, so 8. We'll give him the full 8.
That's right.
All right.
You was right.
I tried to tell you.
But
I don't argue.
But I mean, the Bears. Technically, the only team that came out with a player that I'm like, all right, you kind of picked up a player for the future is the Bears. The team that traded out our way. They got the right tackle.
The tackle, right?
Yeah. He's been playing. He's been top 10 since he got drafted.
Look, the Bears, not to get off topic, the Bears, they addressed that line, didn't they? They said we are going to make sure we take care of Caleb Williams. We're going to address that line. Now, I'll whisper it. I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan. But he's got no excuses this year. Because they shored up that line. He's got weapons in the backfield, weapons on the outside. We're going to see who Chicago is this year.
Well, we need to. That NFC North situation is getting a little hectic, especially if. Well, I think the Vikings said that they're going to stick with their guy,
JJ McCarthy. Yeah,
that's not what they said.
They said they're out on Aaron Rodgers.
They're going to let.
They out on Aaron.
They said they're going to wait. Today. No, they said they're gonna wait for spring. So maybe that says you're out. They want to see what JJ McCarthy progression is from last year. They want to see him work out for the team, and then they'll make a decision on quarterback. That's their move right now. So they're not gonna sign Aaron Rodgers until they see what JJ McCarthy.
So they're out on Aaron Rodgers. Basically. Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh.
But Aaron Rodgers comes out with a statement after that saying, "I'm willing to wait. I'm in no rush."
He's waiting. Yeah. But what that means for guys like Russ. and guys
They
like
all
that.
in limbo because guess what? The team that might sign Russ is waiting for Aaron Rodgers.
Russ will be in Cleveland. Aaron will be in Pittsburgh. JJ McCarthy will be the Vikings quarterback. There you go. I just solved the riddle.
I think.
I don't know why everybody's waiting.
Well,
Are they Russ going to the Browns?
Yeah, Russ going to the Browns. It's just because that's where else is he going to go?
They're telling too many. The only problem with the Browns, I mean, obviously a shitty organization, so that's another part of this conversation. But they done told like 2 quarterbacks that's out on the market outside of Aaron Rodgers, like, look, we're interested if Aaron Rodgers doesn't choose the Vikings. Like, what? Like, you got Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
You got
who I like.
Russell Wilson, both waiting, saying, hey, we're interested in signing both of you guys, but we got to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do just in case he sees us as a viable spot.
He don't see
You're not even on the list right now.
No.
He has a 3-team list, and you're not included.
Look, I guess
the
one team we're leaving out. Yeah, there we go. The Giants. That's one team we're leaving out.
And it's the Vikings.
I don't think nobody gonna want to go to the Giants.
Nobody does.
I don't think nobody going.
Well, that's why you overpay.
The reason why you would go to the Giants, force their hand on that pick. You can force them to get an offensive threat like Tech, or you can get them to get Travis, somebody that can come out and produce on offense. As a quarterback, you like, oh, I get Malik Neighbors and I get one of those guys. That's the only thing to me that seems appealing. Everything else on that team is other than the defensive line, everything else is.
But can you really win though? I mean, we saw that with the Bengals. Yeah, you could throw the ball all over the yard, but if you have no defense, you can't win. At the end of the day, you're not making a playoff. So as a guy like Aaron Rodgers, does he want to spend his last year mucking and grinding for the Giants? Russell Wilson, do you want to go play for the Giants? Honestly, I think it's just going to come down to bread. The Giants know nobody wants to play for, so we're going to pay you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the money, and then also out of those 2 quarterbacks, I feel like I see, just because of how the whole it was cringe when he was with the Broncos and he was like, Broncos Nation, let's ride. You know,
yeah, right.
I feel like that he's going to want that. He's going to want that for New York. I think that's him, Sierra, and all them moving to New York. I feel like that will be him, and also just getting the money.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Devontae, did anybody watch the Devontae Smith interview?
No. When was that?
He was on Carmelo podcast. It drops tomorrow. Never mind. It dropped tomorrow. I just looked it up. I'm gonna watch that. Definitely watch that.
All right.
I didn't see Slays either. I seen it pop up. Him talking about Pittsburgh. I was just like,
the presser, or was he on with?
No, this Carmelo. Is his podcast. He was doing like
on Carmelo's podcast. Okay.
No, Darius Slay is on Carmelo's, and then Devontae Smith is on Carmelo's, but Darius Slay was on his own. I was just like,
okay.
And he was like, he had like the yellow banner, and he was like standing there in the Steelers jersey. And I was just like,
so soon as he got traded, as soon as I seen him on the presser, I unfollowed his podcast because I don't want to hear nothing else about that.
I ain't that type. I'm on here getting my bread. I'm cool being a subscriber.
I like D Slay. I
turned the notification bell off.
That's my guy, but I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear him
just turn the
talk about the
Steelers. Just turn the bell off.
I could.
That's what I did.
He's too petty.
I was like, look, I went to the bell. I was like, if you show up in the algorithm, you show up, but I'm gonna turn that bell off because I don't need to see you every time you drop one.
Right.
He's good for that team. He was good for the Eagles. He was good in the locker room. I think they should have gave
him the last run, but I don't know how that worked out.
$10 million is tough for them right now, though. And if he at the end of the day, right, and at the end of the day, if he's at the point in his career where he said, I just want one more bag. What's that?
I mean, you said it. Never mind.
If he wants one more
bag only, then
if that's what it is, right? Because you know he's not going to Pittsburgh saying, "Hey, I want to chase one more ring." You don't even have a quarterback.
Right.
No, you ain't chasing anything. So if it was really about, hey, I think like 1 was nice, 2 was better, and he wanted to get a second ring, he would have found a way. The Eagles would have found a way to bring him back, and maybe like $4 million, something along those lines. He wanted a bag. It's just that simple. So he went 10.
I would love to see a Pittsburgh Steelers practice with Slay versus DK. I would love to see that practice.
Man, could you imagine? Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers and you had his personality with DK's personality, with Pickens' personality, and Slay's mouth and personality, like it's going to be entertaining.
Yep.
Hard Knocks needs to go to Pittsburgh. I would watch that.
Definitely.
Right.
I do think Aaron Rodgers is up there, though.
Up there in what?
Pittsburgh.
Up there meaning you're saying right now?
I think Minnesota is going to move on, and then I don't think he's going to want to go to the Giants because they don't.
No,
it's too late in the process to get who you want on the team. So your best chance of winning a game or winning a playoff game, my bad, is Pittsburgh.
Does Pittsburgh want Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Do that?
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin.
I actually I actually have a friend that works for the organization. They are in.
Okay. Then that's where you should go.
I think it's because the quarterbacks that they think are remaining, they've seen, what they have to offer as far as like in their best game.
Yeah.
And they're saying, like, he was telling me, like, they believe Aaron Rodgers this year won't be Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury, coming back type deal. He'll be more comfortable. He'll be moving around in the pocket, doing his thing again. And they kind of believe he comes in and at least gets them 1 or 2 playoffs.
Look, they better have a plan because you don't trade away and then trade away premium draft picks and then go sign a wide receiver to $150 million if you don't have a quarterback. So when they did that, you have to believe there was a plan in place. I mean, I hope you guys had a plan in place before you went and did that. So Aaron Rodgers would definitely fit that bill. We know they have a decent defense. They lost Najee Harris though, right? I think he went to the Chargers, right?
Yeah, but they got Gainwell, so.
Oh yeah, Kenny G. That's another guy I like. I think Kenny G's solid.
I think they didn't move up for Kenny though. What's buddy name? Tyler Warren.
Yeah, Warren.
Tyler Warren.
I think he'll get the boat.
Yeah.
Listen,
Kenny G's a third down back.
Kenny G went and did this. He went and got the same job for some bread though.
And I don't blame him.
For bread, yeah.
I don't blame him. Look, you got one shot to do it. We won a Super Bowl and someone's ready to give me some cheese. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Again, I only say that meaning like every guy's different, right? If that's my hometown or that, like I have roots there and I'm building something bigger than just football, like, okay, I get it. Some guys are going to stay, but for the most part, I can't tell anybody how to put money in their pocket. If one guy's going to give me 3.5 and the other one's going to give me 7, all right, yeah, I'll go play a year or 2 over there.
The only question I'm gonna ask you is how's the taxes? Other than that,
like, what state are we in? What state? You going to Florida? All right, you good. You good. Texas? All right, you're fine. Right.
But no, I was kind of, I was 50-50 on Kenny for some time.
I like Kenny.
I like him. I
didn't like
him, but I don't like him. You know what I mean?
I didn't like when they force fed him the ball, Smitty.
That's what I'm saying. Like they would throw him in the worst moments. It's like we driving for the game. We in the red zone, and you see Saquon running off the field. Why is Kenny Gainwell coming in? And then he gets 2 carries back to back. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
But dude,
and then we set up for a field goal, and you like, if you didn't give Kenny Gainwell those 2 carries at the beginning of the red zone drive, we probably scored a touchdown.
He had a couple drives where they were like, it was 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 15, like a couple drives where they got the ball in his hands and homeboy picked it up. And he had a couple flashy plays where it said, that's what I want from you, Kenny. That's what I love. Why I may not have been as high on him in like 23 and 24 this year, he completely, for me, look, it's amazing what a Super Bowl does to us. Right now, everything is just rainbows. Now we love everybody now.
Right.
But no, Kenny definitely played well this year, and it was good for him. He earned himself a nice paycheck.
Talking about the Super Bowl, do you think that's why guys were okay on moving on? Just because we won the Super Bowl and that chapter was done for them?
Players?
Yeah, like CJ was like, not going off the hinges like he normally do. It's more so like, oh, it's all love, things like that. Because I remember the last time we made it to the Super Bowl but lost, and then we weren't able to sign him back, and he wanted to get paid that safety money, and that was like his first full year as a safety in the NFL. We weren't willing to pay him, but now,
well, he was going into free agency in 2022, so he was looking to get a nice contract. And when the Eagles weren't the team, after he just helped them get to the Super Bowl, said, yeah, we're not giving it to you, I think that just pissed him off. Right. And then no team.
Didn't he say in his like little twitch that he circled back? I guess the money was gone at that point.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
already he had demands, and the Eagles they mutually agreed that all right, it ain't going to happen. Went and spent some money elsewhere, and then he wanted to come back. It's like, fine, I'll take the deal. Sorry, we don't have it. So he wound up signing a real cheap deal in Detroit. Right? It was like one year, $8 million, something simple like that. Right?
Like that.
So I think he was just kind of in his feels and pissed off that it didn't work out the way he wanted to. This year, I think he's okay with it. Because they want a chip, right? And that eases a lot of pain when you can now say forever in history, I'm a champion. Nobody can ever take that from him. But the second part of it is his paycheck didn't change. He's still getting paid, right? He still has that contract. It's just, all right, and he's going to get paid in Texas. To your point, taxes are a hell of a lot better in Texas too. So he's still going to get that money. The other guys, man, I don't fault Josh Sweat for taking 17, 18 a year. I don't fault Milton Williams for getting $26 million a year. You ain't the third best defensive tackle in football, and you're going to get $26 million a year. I might look at you crooked if you didn't take that deal, to be 100% honest. That's $26 million a year.
You don't think? Well, I don't think they sign him because they think he's the third best. Though. I think
no, it's just the market.
They add potential in, and then what he's put on paper, and they're like his potential puts him at top 5.
And it's what happens when guys win a Super Bowl, right? You pay that tax. Oh, you're coming off a Super Bowl win. The market for defensive players is high. They're paying that market value right now. So I get that, but it's also why the Eagles couldn't do it, because hey, the Patriots, what you're willing to give up, what you're willing to pay as a 3-4 win team is a little different, because our rosters are completely different. And I got other players I got to pay. I got more talent on the team. You guys are trying to microwave our success by just paying for stuff. We don't need to pay. We'll go out and we'll draft and build. We drafted Milton Williams. We drafted Josh Sweat. We'll go draft some more. And that's the Eagles' philosophy. That's what they do.
So the whole get up of this offseason has been getting younger on defense. A lot of people, like we said earlier, was talking about going after Justice Simmons, going after these older our veteran safeties. Do you think that that's the right move right now, or do you think that we just get a safety in the draft, and then watch people that's just getting cut off for other teams down the line?
Best of both worlds, maybe. Obviously, I'm a big proponent in the draft of best player available, right? Best player, especially now with the way this team's built. Mm-hmm. If Starks is there at 32 and you like him and you can pull the trigger on him, go for it. If there's another player that falls in if it's a defensive tackle and you have him highest rated on your board, go for it. If there's an offensive lineman at 32 that you thought was a top 10 lineman, then go take him, right? You just take the best player available. Ideally, I don't know that I love the idea of Justin Simmons because of age, but you want guys to compete back there, whether they add through the draft or they wait to see what happens throughout training camp or again, how he can pull a trade. He's got chips, man. He's got chips on the table, tons of draft picks. He can move around, play with them the way he wants to. And most likely, I think it would be through the draft versus an older player.
I kind of already answered that question though, but
yeah,
I'm cool off Justin Simmons.
Yeah. What about the Dallas Goedert situation? Like, do he do no, listen, hear me out. Now, what if he does like a Josh Sweat situation, whereas though he takes less money? You still would be off of him?
Bro, the man is.
I already know how you feel. The
man is gonna miss 4 to 5 games in the upcoming season. It's written, it's sewn in the fabric. Like, I would rather, like, at this point, like, this is at the point where we got rid of Ertz. Kind of, we moved on. He wasn't the guy. I'm not saying, we moving on for Grant Calcaterra. No, I do like Grant Calcaterra in the passing game.
Okay, thank you.
But putting that boy out there to block. No.
They're one-dimensional. They're one-dimensional with Calcaterra, right? So that's what I like about. Go ahead.
What about Kyle Pitts though?
All right, so you're falling for that trade.
I like Kyle Pitts.
I like Kyle Pitts. Sure, I thought he was overdrafted.
No, I don't think it's for Goddard though. I think
no, but you're just saying trade like Goddard off the
Yeah.
roster, Pitts on the roster. You're not
Yeah.
saying it's a 1-for-1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of an athletic pass catching. Just I like athletes. I said that earlier, right? I like athletes, guys who score high on the test from
Right.
athletic, right? So Kyle Pitts is kind of what you were talking about earlier. Like you are who you are. Like you are who you are.
But
You're
to
an
me,
underwhelming, completely.
Now we got now, Jason. When you say that, we're gonna have to go into context.
Context matters. I know it. Go ahead.
After his rookie season, who he had for 2 years as an OC?
Yep.
Arthur Smith.
Ooh.
Name the last 1,000-yard receiver he had before George Pickens.
Context matters. So all right. So then why would they give him up? Why would they give him up?
Huh?
Then why would they trade him? If they know that,
I think they
why
at
would
the
they let
point
go?
where it's the last year of his rookie deal. So next year you gotta commit long term. And I don't think that's where they're going long term with Kyle Pitts, just because of what kind of as an organization they failed to be able to do. So now the production that you're gonna have to pay him for was 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So when you go to another team, obviously value drops. So what I think Howie would have to pay for Kyle Pitts to stay on the roster isn't the same as Atlanta, right? And I
Depending
also
on the
think
year
with
he
him
has.
coming, yeah,
They're not
obviously,
gonna- I mean, well,
he
actually,
can
no,
come
you're
in and
not
have a
wrong.
crazy season.
Would if Howie trades for him, what year is he in? Is he in
He's
his
in the
fourth?
fourth year. Yeah,
Fourth
going into
year.
his
So they have
fourth
an
year.
option. They can always trigger an option. So
Yeah, in
technically he's
May.
got it for 2
I
years.
think they got to like May 2nd or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Going back to it, I like Goddard because he blocks. And that again, I just like the idea that I got a pass catching tight end that isn't afraid to get dirty, to get physical and mix it up. And we know how important the run game is for him. Is Kyle Pitts that guy? I don't know. We haven't seen it. And maybe that's because of coaching. Maybe it is. I also subscribe to context matters 100%. But I also subscribe a little bit to the idea that, look, good players are good players, and good players find a way to impact the game. Earlier we were talking about Malik Neighbors. Well, the Giants stink. We know the Giants stink. They've got no OC, no head coach. They got no quarterback, no offensive line. They got no weapons. We all know who Malik Neighbors is, right? Because that dude flashed. We know that guy can play. So I think at times I would like to see, okay, we know the situation in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts is a dog, right? Kyle Pitts can ball. We just didn't see that. And I would like to see that more before I say, yeah, I'd like that guy on my team. If it is, it's just one of those, all right, Howie, swing. Take a swing. But I wouldn't get it and say, oh, here we go, Kyle Pitts, right? Saquon Barkley. I was excited when they got Saquon Barkley because we know that guy's a dog. I don't care what your situation is. That guy can play football.
All right, so he went from over 80 targets in his first year, to never having over 60 any year after.
And what was the production drop? So targets dropped by
20. It dropped. Okay, so in 2022 he had 52 targets. In 2023 he had 71 targets.
Okay.
In 2024 he had 62 targets. In 2022, his worst year, he 356. But the years where he had 50 receptions last year.
That's not bad for a tight end.
He had a little bit over 605 touchdowns.
Okay, man. To me, and again, context matters, right? You said we'll beat that drum. If he's that guy, what was he drafted 3rd overall? I want to say Kyle Pitts was 3rd, something like that. Top five. We'll just say top 5. If he's a top 5 pick, like, bro, I need more than 500 yards and 5 scores.
Well,
you're a difference.
Didn't Kirk Cousins go on a 7-game streak where he didn't have over 200 yards or a touchdown?
I know what happened to him.
So
I know.
I don't know. Like, to me, I believe with Jalen Hurts, all these numbers explode.
What was Drake London's numbers? Can you pull that up real quick?
Drake London went crazy.
Oh, how though? How did he go crazy? But
because he got force feed the ball.
Why don't you? Because you force feed your players the ball, and at some point
he has
saying,
over 100
Kyle Pitts ain't getting
receptions.
the ball.
Listen, Kyle Pitts had 47.
Yeah,
Drake London has over 100.
That's my point. That's my point. They're
But-
like, hey, we got to move it through this guy because that's the baller on the offense.
That's Kirk Cousins' game, though. If you go back and look, Kirk Cousins, outside of him getting traded, TJ, that 1 year, he hasn't really been productive with tight ends. He's not a great tight end. His tight ends aren't his safety valve.
Who did he have before Hawkinson? Because he balled with Hawkinson.
Yeah, buddy, that went to the Rudolph. Yeah, Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph. He played well with Kyle Rudolph too.
Let me check Kyle Rudolph's stats, but I'm sure Kyle Rudolph only had one good season with him, though. I don't think that's his thing, though. That's not his bread and butter. He's a
down the field.
He's an outside the numbers, down the field, down guy.
I get
Kyle
you. It's
Rudolph,
just sometimes there are guys.
I just want to see.
Yeah, while you looked it up, sometimes there's just guys where I don't care where you are on the field. If you're a difference maker, we find ways to get you the ball. And even if that's not Kirk Cousins' game, if I'm a coordinator, you find ways to get your players, like your playmakers, the football. And obviously in Atlanta, they were saying, that's Drake London. We don't need to worry about our tight end.
Right.
So Rudolph, 2021, 257 yards, 26 receptions. 2020, 28 receptions, 334 yards. 2019, he had 30 receptions, 360 yards. His best season with Kirk Cousins was in 2018. He had 60 receptions for 630 yards.
All right, so I have 1 year stuck in my head. Could I just get one of those years with Kyle Pitts then? Just 1 year?
I think you can. I think we can.
We have maybe it's us. Maybe the Eagles are the team to get that from him. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Why you say no, DB?
I don't know if I believe it.
Because I feel like this, right? If you think about the last season, we had all these players. We got Jahan Dotson, the forgotten receiver. I feel like that the chemistry with him and Dallas Goedert is unmatched. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I'm like, we shouldn't move on so quickly from him. I think, but the numbers make sense on why. With the Kyle Pitts situation, Kyle Pitts is going to want that production. Whereas though you got AJ over here, you got Smitty over here.
He wants production. I mean,
he's going to want that.
Not saying he can't ask for it, but who's not going to tell him to shut up and sit down? AJ gonna be like, bro, if you don't sit your 600-yard behind down somewhere, you haven't done anything. Bro, you got less than 10.
AJ would do it.
You got less than 10 touchdowns in 4 years, bro. If you don't shut up talking to Jalen crazy.
Why have that when you could just have
I've never seen Kyle Pitts do that though. You saying something I've never seen him do. I'm just
saying that he's gonna want that production. I'm not saying that he's gonna say it.
He's had 4 quarterbacks in 4 years, and he's just like, man, whatever y'all do, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just do what I'm supposed to do I think he's more Smitty than anybody. He'll come in and just work just because he's trying to prove that he belongs in the NFL, and he wants to show people that Atlanta didn't do a service for him. Like they really put him in the bro. Think about his quarterbacks. Let's be real. His first year was his best year. Was the last year of Matt Ryan in Atlanta. He goes from Matt Ryan to who? A mixture of Sam Howell and Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
No, he had Rattler too.
No, that's year 3.
That's in New Orleans.
That's year 3.
No, Rattler.
Ritter.
Who am I talking?
So year 3,
Desmond Ritter.
No. Year 3 is his starting quarterback is Desmond Ritter, and then he goes from Desmond Ritter to Kirk Cousins and
yeah,
Michael
but
Penix.
don't boo quarterbacks rely on their tight end all the time? You know what I mean?
He had quarterbacks that didn't even do that.
All right, fair.
That's how you know they bad when they can't even fill out. Hey, look.
All right, so
is my best friend. He's the closest to the line. He's the easiest. He's the fastest target I can get to. He's my best friend. Now I'm gonna throw this pick.
But would you
60 yards out there?
Would you trade a player? Would you trade picks to a guy that's in his 4th year? You're gonna have to pick up a 5th-year option. You're gonna have to make financial decisions about who hasn't. Obviously, the talent's there in terms of just raw ability, right? So you're swinging at that. But would you be better off saying, yeah, there's a couple nice tight ends in the draft here. If we want to go reloading the tight end market, we go ahead and we pull one of these 3 guys, or maybe 4 guys that they're eyeing up in the draft. Wouldn't that, especially given the fact that we're talking about they got to let certain guys go, they got to trade certain guys because we're cash strapped and we got guys we got to pay, rather than give up assets and pay another tight end who hasn't produced? I would think they'd go draft one.
I ain't saying we're gonna pay Kyle. But I know.
But Howie's not going to give up draft assets.
I know
just to let a
Howie.
guy
I
go.
know Howie right now is thinking in the back of his head that I don't want to pay Dallas Goedert this $14 million in a few months.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
I guarantee you that's in the back of his mind. Like, man, look, he got a $14 million bonus that's kicking in June 1st. I need him.
They
off
love
his
him in
roster
the locker room.
he's
They
gonna
do
kick.
love him in the locker room, though.
As a player,
Love him.
he's loved. But that money right now, looking at it and saying, look, we're gonna have to give him $14 million. He's missed 4 games every season for the last 5 seasons. Do we want to commit more? And we have to go in thinking if he has a good season, now we have to contemplate committing more money to him.
Look, Howie said it's going to be unconventional, right? So if trading Dallas Goedert is another example of why it's unconventional or why it feels rough around the edges, so be it. Would I like to keep Dallas Goedert on the roster? Yes, I would, for football reasons. I'd like to keep Dallas Goedert on. They're a better football team with Dallas Goedert on the field, okay? But they're trying to all of our points, they're trying to keep who they need to keep. And if Dallas doesn't fit that and they don't want to pay him that money and they feel better off moving off of him and addressing another guy, whether it's giving up a 4th round pick or a 3rd round, what would it cost? Like a 4th round pick maybe for Kyle Pitts, something like that. If they feel like they can do that, right? Something in that range. If they feel like that's better for them, all right, then go do it. Again, because I'm just going to fall back on this idea that Howie is planning for today and tomorrow, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And some guys that we want to chip with and we've grown fond of and we have that attachment with are going to be out the building. And he just has to reload, and we'll fall in love with new players.
When Zach Ertz was leaving, Dallas Goedert was already on the team. I think it should be something similar like that. If we're going to depart from him, like you said, Grant Cocker, he's not the best blocker at all. But offensively, he fit in well when Dallas Goedert was out last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We did pick up some tight ends, even though I don't really think they really make the team. But I feel like that, it's showing that, they are listening to people on Dallas Goedert and also Bryce Huff on the type of free agency they had. So overall, man, I think that you got to do what's best for the team. Like you said, I would love to have Dallas Goedert sit here at least for one more year.
Mm-hmm.
But just the chemistry with Jalen Hurts that he had, it was that one play sticking in my head, whereas though Jalen Hurts was scrambling. I think the cornerback came up to try to get to Jalen Hurts, and he dumped it off to Dallas Goedert. It's like it was almost like they drew it up, like it was just the chemistry between those two. I just don't want him to have to get the chemistry with another tight end so quickly.
I'm sorry to say it,
but it does open up him gaining the chemistry with Jahan Dotson.
You got to find chemistry again with somebody else, bro. Dallas got a 30. I mean, one more season next year. Guess what? We're gonna be sitting here, me and you. We're gonna be like, man, Jalen Hurts got to figure out how to get the ball to the tight end. Let's just kill the bird now and figure it out. I mean, at this point, listen. Right now, we have 10 of 11 starters guaranteed to be back on the field. 9 of 11 ain't gonna hurt me that bad. I think Dallas Goedert production is replaceable. I'm sorry, and if you want to go Jason route, I can name 3 tight ends I would take in the draft if we traded him and not blink an eye.
There are good tight ends in the draft. I do think his production is
Mason Taylor, Harold Fanning.
Fannon's a kid. I think they're
Loveland.
Yeah,
I'm taking. I know Tyler Warren is out of the picture, but it's 3 tight ends that I believe will be at 32 or 64. You got an opportunity to pull, and they come in and give you the same athleticism, the same type of wide receiver production, and they perform in the blocking aspect of the football.
So that's the part that I care about, though. It's not that I don't think his production is replaceable. It is, right? Look at his numbers. Okay, they're good, not great numbers. It's just that how much a blocking tight end, or we'll call it a dual threat tight end, pass catcher, but will also muck it up on the line and get his hand in the dirt, right? How much that means to this team based on how they're built. They're a run-first offense. And we saw what they did this year. That's just what they do. So they got to get a tight end that when you get him in a line, whether you're going 11, 12 personnel, whatever that is, I don't know what you're going to do. Are you going to run the football? Are you going to throw the football? I don't know what you're going to do. And I think Dallas gives him that ability. Whoever they replace him with has to give him that same flexibility. Right?
You got it's two guys right now. If you want guaranteed blocking, you bring in Mason Taylor. He's 6'6", 260. Or you bring in Harold Fanning, who's 6'4", 230. Both of them
to get dirty.
Both of them are great blockers. Okay. Go look at their ratings as blockers in college. Both of them rank in the top. They rank up there with offensive linemen in blocking.
Then there's your answer.
Those two guys you bring in, they replicate exactly what Goddard is giving us, and younger and probably
cheaper,
more athleticism.
Cheaper,
yeah.
Cheaper is always
cheap. I mean, cheaper is right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what Howie's looking at. If Howie had all the cash in the world, Dallas Goedert's an Eagle, period. But he doesn't. And he's got to make decisions. And if he can get younger, cheaper, more athletic in the draft, then that's what he's going to do. He's told us and shown us that that's what he's going to do. And it works. It works. Look what they did in 2022. They had a down year in 23. Look what they got right back and then won the Super Bowl. They've got an extremely talented roster and 20 picks to fish through for the next 2 years. Like we're sitting pretty. It's all good.
Are we okay with Tyler Steen being that right guard?
Yeah,
for full season.
Maybe. Smitty said it too. I like when they signed Mekhi Becton last year because I just thought, oh, you're kicking that guy in. That guy needs to kick in the guard. You get him under Stoutland. He's incredibly athletic for his size, his frame. Get that guy in guard. Yeah, that's going to work. Tyler Steen had a shot. Tyler Steen got beat out in camp. Now, for a reason, right? Because Mekhi Becton played really damn well. Does Green challenge him? Again, they made the trade with CJGJ for a reason. They're bringing in another guy who's
he just said it, and I'm like, that's where I'm at. Like, how does Tyler Steen start? You traded for a first round offensive lineman on the last year of his rookie deal. Like, how do you evaluate re-signing a guy like that if you don't put him on the field?
No.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's almost like in my head, like when they signed him, like, okay, Becton gone. And then I'm like, it seems to me like Kenyon Green is like going to be the start. Because like
he might.
If y'all make it make sense to me, it's just like, why would Howie trade for basically a young piece? I think he's like 24. Last year of his rookie deal. You have a 5th-year option to not figure out what you have in that when you gave away CJ and a pick. Like I just don't.
And he fits what they're looking for. He's really athletic. He's another really strong run blocker in theory, right? He fits the type of mold that they're looking for, but he's got to prove it. Again, if they get into camp and Tyler Steen plays better, okay, it's Steen's job and it's a swing and miss. Fine.
Right.
But he just didn't live up to the he just didn't live up to the draft billing. He struggled mightily in Texas.
Yeah, bad. And I don't. That's why I'm like, I trust Stout to death.
No doubt.
Obviously, Stout was in on bringing him in because, like you said with Fangio, I'm pretty sure you don't go pull an offensive lineman from another team and you ain't communicate with Stout.
Correct.
So
Stout obviously said,
Stout
give me that guy.
Yeah, I like what I see on tape.
Yeah.
Just to me, it's just like, okay, he's 6'4", what, 330, 340.
Yeah.
He's big, right? He's a bigger guy. You know, you want to, and obviously you want to see what he got, but it's like, to me, it's like, if he beats Steen out, what do we do with Steen at that point? He done got beat out, what, 3 years in a row?
Yeah, but Steen's more versatile. I'm okay with that because you need it like a Jack Driscoll, right? Not a great player, but versatile. Oh, okay. I got somebody down at guard. Go ahead, hop in. Oh, okay. I got banged up at tackle.
I think team stock on him will be here though.
Team stock.
Not our stock, but teams looking for offensive linemen to be like, he been with Stout. Matter of fact, perfect example. Andre Dillard. The whole Eagle organization, as fans, as players, as coaches, we knew he wasn't that after year 2. We were like, all right, Andre Dillard, done.
That's one of the few guys that Stout couldn't get.
But look,
right.
Him being with Stout still got him paid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He still ended up going, even though he got benched on the team he went to, they still gave him a nice bag to come play for them. Isaac Seumalo, he wasn't the greatest guard. He got paid like he was top 10. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we might realize, dang, Tyler Steve might not be it, man. We like him as a swing guy. But I think somebody else, seeing he's 23, 24 years old, might swing in. And to me, I don't want to lose him as a backup. Like, I'm almost like people are like Fred Johnson, man. I'm so sad to see him go. I'm like, Fred Johnson had 2 good games, bro, out of 6. He started 6 games. He had 2 good ones where I didn't have to like sit here and be like, you're getting my quarterback. Like the Bengals game, he played lights out. The Saints game, he stepped in, played lights out. The other 4 games, Fred was getting twisted and turned and flipped and burnt all types of ways.
Another guy. It's another guy where if they really felt like, hold on, we need that guy along the lines, they would have resigned him. They would have prioritized him at a low, but maybe they like Kennard, right? Maybe they like what they've seen out of that guy.
Kennard and Keegan, right?
Keegan out of Michigan. They drafted him last year, right?
Yeah, both of them. So, I think they drafted both of them last year. Darian and Keegan.
So, again, just another example of where the Eagles are making these moves in the background and guys are moving on because they're sitting pretty saying, no, guys, we draft well. And it feels so weird saying that out of my mouth, but no, yeah, this organization drafts really well. And they're just kind of set up for it. What they do, best player available at 32. If you're telling me there's an offensive lineman that's going to solve a lot of your problems and they're really high on, they don't know why he slipped down, go ahead, take him. Best player, go for it. Right? That would be a traditional, typical how he moves. So, yeah, especially if he can start his career off a guard. Maybe you get 2 or 3 year run out of it. Kick him out to right tackle, for example, when Lane decides to hang it up. Whatever that plan is.
We got the tackle. Trust me.
You got the tackle already?
He already on the roster.
Already on the right tackle's already on the roster.
Lakin Valkali, rugby player from Australia, 6'6", 360.
Yeah, they're trying to replicate Mailata.
Oh, he's ready to roll. Again? He's ready to roll.
Yeah.
He's ready to roll.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know enough about him. I just know they're trying to replicate the project.
You don't keep a guy on the roster for 2 years if you don't believe something.
Okay.
They done signed him twice.
Okay.
And matter of fact, you signed him on the first deal and let him play rugby because you knew you wasn't ready for him to come yet. He was like 19. I think he only 21.
Okay.
21. And this is going to be his first year being in OTAs and everything with us like the whole time, going through the whole 17-game season. This will be the first year. Last year, he came in for OTAs, mini camps, and then he had to go back for his contract with rugby. This will be the full commitment. I think Stout might have got another one.
All right. I like that.
And he athletic. I watched some tape of him playing rugby. I was like, oh, we got another little runner, huh?
That's what it is. Athletes, man. Just get me athletes. That's what Stout loves, man. Give me that big boy, knows how to eat, and is an athlete.
You like to get him on the edges. Hey, go get somebody.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's the one thing that changed from last year to this year. And I'm wondering, like, did Stout get more control because of the running back we had in the back? Because it seemed like we were running more of like a scheme where he was in control. You've seen a lot of offensive line movement. You've seen a lot of holes opening up because of the movement. Like, okay, so did Stout have the same control of the run game when Swift was here that he had when Saquon was here? Because it didn't look the same when Swift was here compared to the way it looked this year. We was pull scheme, zone run. Like, we was killing people on pull and zone. Like,
the Eagles have done such a masterful job of not answering any of those questions and leaving everybody wondering, well, who pulls these strings? Who's in control of this? Who's making that call? Is it a Sirianni thing? Was it Kellen Moore? Is Jalen changing stuff at the line? Is Stoutland? Does Stout have some control? We have no idea, legitimately, how that offense ran last year. You can't put your finger on it.
I think when you try to, it's like a collective effort. Got to be.
Yeah, it is. That's what I mean.
Because half the stuff I've never seen from us, I definitely didn't see it from Kellen either. So it's like somebody came together and said, hey, we need to come with a better scheme. And it might have been Kellen and Stout and Nick, all of them in the room like, hey, how can we improve the run game? Because what I've seen in the first 4 weeks isn't what I like.
Isn't that wild that maybe, just maybe, your head coach got with your offensive line coach, got with your offensive coordinator, and you guys got in a room and said, hey, what do you think? Hey, what's going to make this offensive work? Like this offense work? Like the three of them actually got together and worked as a team, like a group of coaches. It's crazy.
Listen. The one thing I don't like they kill about Nick is like he's unintelligent offensively or football wise. No, his problem, his only problem is in game putting together rhythm. He can't do it to save his life. He can't get up there and call plays back to back to back to back to back, set it up, scoring drives, things of that nature. But as far as talking football, knowing X's and O's, knowing how players operate, knowing how offense operate, he does that at a high level. That's how you get 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 win, because your head coach does things at a high level that you just don't see on the field because he doesn't have a playbook in his hand and he's not doing the choke artist Kyle Shanahan.
Thank you.
You know the problem with a lot of the guys that call plays, and it's outliers. Yeah, they've won Super Bowls, but guess what? Most of them, when they get to the Super Bowl, get overwhelmed. They're all in the Super Bowl like this. How can I call the next best? Oh my God! Hey, the defense got to do. Oh man, I gotta. But guess what? Guess what Nick had to do? Vic, you good? You got it? You need me to step in and help you out? Look at something? No? Hey, Kellen, you good? All right, I'm gonna do my best job to keep the guys hyped, keep the guys going. Because guess what? My 2 coordinators got it working well. I don't need to step in and do that. And
now it makes it tough.
Lie, so a lot of people kill him.
No. Look, I'm not telling you that I wasn't frustrated with Sirianni earlier in the season. You know, at the bye week, we all were to some degree. I was frustrated with the team, right? So I'm not going to act like I didn't have frustration with him. It was more collectively and overall the group, and you're the head coach. So right, wrong, or indifferent, everything gets thrown your way in terms of I got questions, I need answers. Somebody needs to step up. I never have issue with he's the CEO. He doesn't do anything. Okay, yes, he does. Will you stop with that? He doesn't do anything. To me, that just doesn't make sense. That's just a lazy argument to just say he doesn't do anything. The challenge with him though is this revolving door. Now he'll be fine with Vic because Vic's kind of at that age where he doesn't have aspirations to be a coach. He's in his hometown. He'll be set there for a couple years. But offensively, because it's not his quote unquote system, or because he's not that offensive minded, he's an offensive minded head coach, but because he's not that guy that has a system, it's hard for you to bring guys up in it. And when one leaves, the next steps up, and the other leaves, and the next steps up. Kind of like that.
We got the best opportunity to keeping the guy this time.
Well, he brought him up. We're going to find out if he actually has the goods or not, right? But it's just my point. It's just another example of an offensive coordinator that when he leaves, in theory, the system leaves. Now that's not going to change this year because they're promoting within. So we'll find out like what does Petula have in the bag. But that would be my one critique of Nick is just, can he develop a tree? This is the next step for him. He's already shown you to win football games.
How many coordinators right now he got in the league as head coaches? 3?
Yeah, well, the first 2 were he brought in Gannon and he brought in
Gannon and Steichen. He brought
them both in. He brought them both in, but then Howie brought in Kellen. Howie brought in Vic. I don't know how much.
Well, Kellen said it was what's the caller that called him though? He said Nick called him first. He said Howie called after, but he said Nick was the first call I got.
Okay. Well, so that's the next step for him. Can you develop coaching staff? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna have a tree, but I don't think he's gonna get the credit for the tree that we think he should get for the tree. But the one thing I like early in the season now, they're like, do we give him slack for the plays where he made mistakes because we heard that Rick Lovato was dealing with an injury like earlier in the season? That's kind of why things didn't go the way we wanted it to go.
Do we give him slack for it?
Because like the game he lost where he didn't take the points, with the 3.
I didn't.
Now that we know Rick Lovato was hurt in that moment, do you now look back and say, all right, I understand the why you didn't throw him out there for the opposite? Because when you did throw him out there, my kicker was really not doing well from 50. Because Rick Lovato, and he was, and even he said it like, man, Rick wasn't, 100% healthy. So we had a lot of like miscommunications at the line. Some of the snaps was off, like kind of why I was missing, why I was having a tough time. Like, do you look back now and be like, I see why when it was 49-yard field goal, you didn't throw Rick out there. And Jake, you didn't throw Rick and Jake out there.
I didn't have as much issue. We talked about it on my show. I didn't have as much issue with those decisions as a lot of other people did. Just because there was some of them like not taking points at the end of was it the end of the half. There was one of the situations where I thought they needed to take the points, but the other down and distance, right? The other down and distance situations I kind of understood. Even when it got down to, was it Jacksonville that stopped them twice on the tush push, right? I didn't have a problem with that because look, the whole league knows that the play is unstoppable. So that means like it's because it's unstoppable. And if you stopped us once, the odds are you're not going to stop us again. Like we know that play is unstoppable. So why would I expect my coach not to know that the play is unstoppable? And credit to Jacksonville, they stopped him. Okay, cool, it worked. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I can't play this game scared. So my only point is, no, I didn't really crush Sirianni for some of the decisions early. They didn't work out, but I didn't really crush him for some of those down and distance and in-game decisions. I mean, it helps when you win the games still, right? When you look back on and say, well, it really didn't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
And then I think the one that really people go back and look at is probably Atlanta.
What passing on
and I think he passed to end the game, and then I think then we passed up on a field goal in the first quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the real game where people go back and be like, why didn't you get the points? And I'm like, I look back and I'm like, listening to Jake be like, man, Rick was hurt. Like, dang, kind of like maybe a lot of that played into those first four. Like outside the first 4 games, I don't think we have a problem with any of the other 13 games on the slate. But that first 4 games, we were like, what's going on? Like, why are we not taking points? Why are we not doing small things to just beat a lot? I'm pretty sure most of the fan base was like, we should be 3-1.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what it is? We say this every year. We just never follow it. We always say, I don't care how you start the season. It's how you end the season, right? How are you playing in December? How are you playing in January? That's what matters because we know that. You want to win a Super Bowl, you better be hot at the right time. You better have it all figured out at the right time. But in typical fashion, if you ain't coming out guns blazing in September, you ain't playing your best football in the first 4 to 5 weeks, we freak out. I get it, right? Because I wasn't happy either.
But Philly fans, Jason,
right? It's what we do. It's what we do. Right? I get it. Yeah, no doubt. But
it didn't even have to be 4 games. It could have been 2, and we'd have been like,
out. Man, it could have been 1 game. It could have been in Brazil against the Packers. And if it didn't, didn't get to win, right?
Listen,
right.
I was in a group chat, no bullshit. I was in a group chat 2023. And we was losing. I forgot what game it was. I want to say we won. Was it? I want to say it was the Jags game. We down like 14.
Okay.
They're like, man, this team fucking sucks. I'm done with Jalen Hurts. I'm done with everybody. Man, we need to fire everybody. I'm like, bro, you tripping, bro? It's like, it's the first quarter. Like, what are we doing? He's like, nah, we lost. It's over with. Then when we win, he like, I love Jalen Hurts so much. I'm like, I'm blocking you. He's like, why? I'm like, bro, did you not just see what you did for 2 quarters until we came back?
Right.
You were literally sitting here saying Jalen Hurts was buns. You wanted to trade him. He's blowing games. You're not going to win with him. And now you're going to come at the end of the game when he's come out with the, basically win it all mentality and won the game. Now you love Jalen Hurts. He did it again in the Buffalo game.
That Buffalo game was
we went to overtime.
All that out.
I didn't block him. I was joking at the moment. I didn't block him. So a year later, he does it in the Buffalo. He's been blocked since.
Have to. And King, I don't know how you watch games, but I can't do it where I can't get on the emotional roller coaster with everybody. Like I watch games by myself because I get hyped. Don't get me wrong, right? But I can't go on every single play. You got to have a comment. Every single play, you got to bitch about something or exaggerate. Like, bro, that's 1 play, or it's 1 quarter, or it's 1 hit. Like we got a lot of football to play. I can't get too high or too low.
Ever since I became a content creator, I've been a content creator for 4 going on 5 years now, and I watch the game by myself. I never live stream the game. I can't look at the comments. I can't even look at the comments, let alone go to a bar or over somebody's house to watch the game. I don't like the whole, Jalen Hurts, he got to be making that pass. And now I'm sitting here having a conversation with them on why Jalen Hurts made that throw, and they not seeing the breakdown as I'm seeing it live. And I probably miss certain things, but they're not watching it how I'm watching the game. So I always watch it by myself, and then try to grasp notes about what happened within the game. and just display it on here. But at the same time, yeah, I just don't like the whole, Jalen Hurts, is time for him to go and all that. I don't know what's going to happen now since he's a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl champion now. I don't know if it's like, oh, we've seen him, like it's a little bit more patience. But ever since the Super Bowl win and everything like that, now it's like Jalen Hurts had the team around him. Everybody was mediocre. The Chiefs didn't show up. I heard somebody, who was that? Dude on Get Up. He said he said that the Commanders came into the link and gave us the NFC championship. I said that don't even make sense.
No, you didn't
That
hear the
don't
best
make sense.
excuse. You didn't hear the best excuse about the Super Bowl, and I laughed at them. They said,
that?
"We were like, man, y'all won that game by luck." I said, "What's the luck, man? Y'all didn't see Patrick Mahomes get concussed on the first drive."
Okay.
I said,
No,
what
I
I
saw
responded
belts
to
to
him,
asses.
Jason?
That's what I
You know what I
saw.
responded to him?
What's that?
I said that's your training staff problem, not mine.
Yeah. Right.
And
You left him
he
on the
didn't
field with
get
a concussion and you lost.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
He didn't
Yeah,
get a
Carson
concussed
Wentz.
right there.
Come on, Carson Wentz could have
I know
taken
he
some
got.
snaps.
I know when he got concussed. He got concussed when Breadman did what he did, and I swore it's going to be a penalty. I said,
Mhm.
yo, we about
How is it not? How is that not a like? I'm good with it. Don't get me wrong.
They said
Right.
the dude the commentator like said something like I think it was like because it was after the fumble they didn't call it a foul because he had already fumbled by the time he made contact. I was like, I'm cool with it.
That's straight bully ball.
Like
He
it was
did
to
in
the point
Pittsburgh
that I
game,
didn't
too.
see
Same
the
thing.
front of his mask. I didn't see the front of his helmet anymore.
Yeah,
Like he
just
like mushed him.
Yeah.
I said, yo. And then they put it in slow motion. I'm like, yo.
Bro,
He
just
demolished
mushed
him.
him.
that one there really messed me up. I was like, how did he just mush this man like this?
Right. Is that mine? You
That's you. That's you.
don't know.
Yeah, but
My core hat came out a little bit.
Now you're
Didn't
good.
realize it.
But yeah, overall, man, I'm starting to settle in more with this off season. It's not really something that you could take back. That's why I'm like, you know what? We could get mad all we want to in our feelings about certain players, certain things that we don't understand. But at the end of the day, we can't keep going into every off season saying this is how we season or how we trust, and then don't trust the guy. Like, Harry, what you doing? Everybody's getting taken. Like, for instance, going back to what you were saying about other fans basically flip flopping. Basically, you have fans saying, "Oh, Howie's going to do his thing," but you had other fans like, "Oh, these players are going to other teams in the division or in the NFC, and we're not doing nothing." But I'm like, we can't do nothing because of the moves that we made prior. We can't do anything but
That's the one
set
thing that
us
made me
up.
happy about our off season, bro.
What?
Nobody that played for our team went to a
They went to a division
did.
rival.
Well, oh,
Yeah.
no.
Like
You saw
any
last year.
You didn't see nobody
You
go
saw
to
last year.
this year. Oh, this off season. Slay go to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Javon, what's it called? Go to the
Bill Williams goes
Patriots.
to the Patriots. Yeah.
Sweat goes to the Cardinals. Like nobody on our team was like, "Oh, I want to be vengeful and go play the Eagles 2 times," or "I want to be vengeful and at least had them on my schedule." They were all like, "You know what? I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna go be cool and get my bread because I know what they got over there."
Again, they won a Super Bowl, so there's no bad blood. Right? It's
Right.
just like and everybody who left said it in their little parting letters. They would say, "Hey, I'll always be a champion. This will always be home. My work is done here, but we'll always be remembered as champion." So it's all gravy, and that's what happens when you win chips. It's all gravy for a time
I'm
period.
hoping all of them be able to come back.
It's all gravy till they retire and they had that interview with like, they just like really kicked me out the door. I thought I was going back to Philly. I thought they was gonna sign me back after the Super Bowl, and then I ended up wherever.
No doubt.
Right.
But as the Super Bowl going on, you like, hey, I love y'all. I'll be there. And you know they're gonna be like, when they bring back like the previous Super Bowl champions, you bring back guys like that, you get to interact. You're part of Eagle history forever. Like, whenever they call whenever they hit that phone, you retire, and they're like, hey, we bringing back, however many Super Bowls. I ain't gonna speak how many we got, but at that time, however many we got, guess what? You always get that call. You're always gonna get the call to show up to be a part of the Super Bowl champion winning team.
Yeah.
You want to be remembered? You want to be brought back? Like, they don't bring back. They're not going to bring back the 2022 team. They ain't gonna bring back the 2005 team. You win the chip. All right, you're gonna get that phone call. We will bring you back. You will be remembered and etched in Philadelphia history. You've got to get the ring. They got the ring. They're champions forever.
Hopefully we can get a few more.
Couple more, one more, two more, right?
Two. Listen, two under this team, two more under this team will be as satisfying.
Don't get greedy. See, this is the thing we do. This is the thing we do. You're 100% right. You're
not asking why though. You're not asking why though. You're not asking why though. See, the question is why. For the last 3 years, I've been dealing with the overabundance of Commander.
Sure.
And their whole argument is catch up.
Okay.
We got our last one in 91. You still can't catch up. So now we at 2. Like, you're not gonna pass me. You might get 3, but we're gonna be tied. I just want to shut them up one time. And then I can be tied with the Giants. And guess what? You know who else you quiet with 2? The ones that sitting at 5. Cause then they go to sweating. They go to them boys might catch us, man. Hey man, boy, the Eagles done won 4 in the last however many years, man. We might need to tighten up, but them boys coming.
Here's the problem.
I wanted to put the pressure on somebody.
I'm torn.
It ain't the Commanders, because the Commanders ain't gonna win them.
I'm torn, and I'll say that I got to jump, but I want to say this first. I'm torn because I'm an old man, right? And that means I've seen a lot of Eagles football, a lot of bad football too. So for me, when we got the first, it was like, all right, good, got 1, cool. We got the second, and now I'm like, ooh, I'm spoiled. I've been to 3 Super Bowls and 8. I'm spoiled. I don't know what this is like, right? And I don't want to get greedy. Right. I don't want to sit here and start acting like this is every year. We know this is not every year. This is not the norm for us in Philadelphia. That's one side, right? The other side is, well, why the hell not? Why can't it? Puff your chest. Bro, you've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 8 years. It ain't 1990 anymore. You're straight. You're good. It ain't 2000 anymore. What's that?
We only technically missed 1 decade, right?
Missed 1 decade. Oh, what? Missed the Super Bowl?
A Super Bowl in the 90s, right?
Didn't have one. Got there early 80s.
We went in the 80s.
Right? 90s, no. 2000s, yes. And then 2017, 18, yes. And so every decade we've been in the Super Bowl outside of the 90s. But my point is,
which to me pisses me off.
That's what we're used to. And even getting there, you weren't winning them, right? You were just kind of sniffing, getting closer, day late, dollar short type deal, which pissed a lot of people off, frustrated a lot of people. Now we're not only getting there, bro, we're winning them. And so part of me feels like, no. Like, embrace that. Own that. Forget the past. You ain't that team anymore. You're not that organization anymore. You ain't those dudes anymore. Now you're the guy on the block that people are worried about. Now you're the team that people say, ooh, hold on. That team's for real. That organization is for real. They ain't just winning today. They're winning tomorrow too. So I struggle to embrace that because I feel like I'm letting myself get a little too high. I'm letting myself get a little too like chesty, if you will. And so I try to pull myself back. But it's a struggle for me. It is genuinely a struggle because I want to puff that chest, but I've been on the other side of it. And that sucks.
You might have went through maybe 1 decade that I didn't go through.
I was born in 80.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only one you went through without me because I was born at the end of the 80s.
And trust me, there wasn't anything good happening in the 80s either.
I mean, we went to a Super Bowl that I didn't get to see. We got spanked by the Raiders. I mean, I was one.
What the hell do I know about that Super Bowl?
But like outside of that, like I feel like we've been a team that's been like competitive. We just we was 1-3. That's a problem.
Competitive. I'll give you competitive. Absolutely. Ever since Donovan and Andy Reid got here, this team has been competitive. They made Eagles football relevant, right?
I was strong right there, DV. I was strong. I ain't crash out. He said the name.
I know.
Like Donovan.
No, he don't. He don't.
Yeah, look, he's one of the best quarterbacks in Eagles history. It is what it is.
He's not the best though.
I did say he was the best. He didn't win a chip. Jalen's got to be the best at this point.
He's not the best. And if you want to ask me to be honest,
don't even.
He might be 3 in the top 3.
We're doing so well.
Jason, he showed up to the biggest. He showed up to the biggest game of his life.
Say it.
He showed up inebriated and blew the game.
Inebriated and blew the game. I thought you were going to say he threw up on the field.
Because he was drunk.
Look, so you're saying he threw up on the field?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Because he was drunk. And then in the crunches of moments, his hangover headache said, throw the ball in triple coverage. You got this because you don't trust the other guy on the other side with the one leg.
I didn't tell you that he was the best big game player. He didn't win a chip. We know that. But in terms of just what turned this organization around and what he did for the city of Philadelphia, what you can't he turned the page. He changed the organization. Him and Andy Reid, he just did. We can't act like he didn't do that because look, he didn't win the chip.
Over him.
You what? You what? You said
taking Randall Cunningham.
Oh,
no, he's Randall Cunningham. He's an RC.
RC. I'm taking Randall over him. I'm taking Jalen over him, and I'm debating with Nick Foles.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because now you're just being a hater. It's fine. It's fine. You're in your field.
No, I'm not even, bro. I'm not even there. I give you the first two. I'm not there with Nick Foles, but regardless,
like I said, did y'all are missing the key word to the argument. I'm debating.
Debating. Fine. Fair enough. I will give you.
He's fighting for 3.
I'll give you Jalen 1. I'm going to take McNabb 2 just because he deserves that respect. Whether he won the chip for us or not, he deserves that respect. I'm taking Randall 3 for sure. I think Randall gets glossed over real quick, to be honest with you. That dude just played in the wrong era. It's just that simple.
Right? I got Donovan at 3. If I'm not trolling, I got Donovan 3. Randall is the reason I'm an Eagle. So he
same,
never,
100%. I got his figurine right in the closet right there, still in the package.
The reason I'm an Eagle. If I ain't see Randall play, I probably would have picked another team.
No doubt. I remember throwing temper tantrums as an 11-year-old kid. Watching Randall Cunningham. I mean, I bled for Randall Cunningham. I defended him through and through because at the time, Randall wasn't necessarily beloved, right? No quarterback in Philadelphia was beloved. Let's be real. Right? The offense was cheeks. And they were living off that defense. They couldn't win in the playoffs, and the offense was the reason half the time. And Randall got back. I love.
And when Reggie
Randall
left,
Cunningham.
it put all the fire on Randall to do something. It was like, what is he supposed to do now? Now the defense isn't even great.
Yeah,
the defense is average, and now you want Randall to do more.
Goes to Minnesota, they unlock him, right? And then you start saying, oh, okay, that's what we missed in Philadelphia all this time. Oh, go figure. Now Randall wants to play like an MVP. Okay, go figure.
But
so you'll never hear me say a bad word about Randall.
They went and got pieces, though. Like, that's the one thing I hate. Like, I know everybody loved that coach. I ain't gonna say his name too much because I don't slander, bro. You know what I mean?
He was OC at the time, right?
No, I'm talking about Buddy.
Oh, Buddy Ryan. Oh, he's
OC. Like his ability to like build an offense was almost infantile. Like my 8-year-old could get on Madden right now and build a better offense than the Buddy Ryan could ever build in his whole tenure here. The man could build great defenses. When it came time to assess offensive talent, he was mush brain.
Correct.
The man had a soft spot in the top of his head when it came to looking at offensive talent, bro. I'm like, Buddy should have got 1. Then I go to looking at the offensive roster, I'm like, this why he didn't get 1?
Mm-hmm.
Randall was throwing to me and you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Come on. He had Chris Carter for
2 years, 3 years.
Right? So he had a weapon. Yeah, Freddie Barnett. Love me some Freddie Barnett. Calvin Williams. Let's go.
Me and you.
Let's go. I actually played against Freddie Barnett.
Look. Jason naming names. Me and you were still on the field. Me and you were still on the field.
No, true story though. I played flag football against Freddie Barnett, and Freddie must have been like 40 at the time, right? I don't know. But you could just tell, like, homeboy was a gazelle. And I was like, oh, you run like that at 40? Like, you know how you just, when you get around professional athletes, you're just like, oh, they're different. Like, they're different. And you could just tell at that age, he was just running around like, oh, I can't imagine this dude in his 20s. He was a cheetah.
He said when you get around talent, well, I had to live with 13 years of my cousin being the Super Bowl MVP against me.
Say again?
I had to live from 2005 to 2018 with my cousin rubbing in being the Super Bowl MVP against my team.
Who's your cousin?
Dion Branch.
I had no idea.
Well, yeah, he cooked me. He cooked me. And then you know what he did? He know I hate his team, so he came over the Christmas after and was like, "Oh, I got a present for you, cuz." And he pulled out a signed Patriots jersey. That Patriots jersey haven't left my mama's house since. It's still in her closet. I told her I don't want nothing to do with that jersy.
He got the bag. Talking about guys that win and get the bag. He went to Seattle, right? Got the bag in Seattle. Is that what it was? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a good player, bro.
He didn't stay in Seattle long though. He played that one season that he.
Most guys who get those contracts don't live it out.
Don't know. He had two cousins in the league, first cousins in the league at the same time as him.
Rashae Caldwell, Andre Caldwell. Rashae Caldwell caught the pass to send Denver to the Super Bowl.
Rashae Caldwell out of Florida.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a bird?
We all first cousins.
Wasn't he a bird at one point? Not at one point. Even I thought he was like maybe on a.
He might have came in for a tryout, but I don't remember ever being on the roster.
I remember being on the preseason. I could be wrong.
Okay, he might have came in for a preseason because he.
So what happened to you? Wait, where'd all the talent go?
You get skipped. I blew my knee out in JUCO. It was over with after that.
So, bro, I'm with you.
Hey, look, I blew my knee out and got my wife pregnant. It was over with.
Oh yeah, you had the double whammy.
It was like knee twin. Look, knee twins. Football's done. I did. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I did go back, like 3 years removed. I went and played for Cisco Community College, trying to get back into the JUCO world.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, going into the second year, I'm 27 at the time. I look, said, hey, bro, how old you is? He was like, oh, I'm 18.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 19. I said, I got kids at the crib. I'm married. What the hell I'm doing in Cisco, Texas, man? What is going on here? Hey, look, and I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of hyped that, somebody even that knew me from back in the day called. It was like, hey, we got a spot out here. You want to try out? We know. I know how you was in high school. The last JUCO when I seen you was playing pretty well, but I don't got a spot on defense. I played safety my whole life. So you're like, you think you can convert the slot by the beginning of the next season? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there like doing all the workouts, and then the second year, I'm just like sitting back. I'm like struggling. I'm eating ramen noodles at 27 years old, like. Just left a full-time job, making good money, making over $60,000 a year. I'm like, it's done. It's done.
At some point, we all hit it. We all hit it at some point.
I love the game, but if I do even make the dream of my life, would I make it at 28, 29?
No.
And then guess what? Tough. They're not signing me to a big deal.
Right.
I'm not even getting a 1-year shot. I'm probably getting a practice squad. And I'm probably just a body on the team making a couple dollars to get beat up every week.
Mm-hmm. But
is that really the dream?
I don't know. For some people it is. That's tough because we get to play the game that we love, right? And we get to stretch it out for as long as possible. And the tough part is, all right, at what point do you say, yeah, that's enough? Like, at what point do you say, all right, time to hang them up?
The year
the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Was the year Rashae got killed.
Say it again.
Rashae Caldwell, the year he got killed, it's kind of the year I called it.
Oh, is that right?
Like, that was the guy I talked to the most. Like,
yeah.
And he was a receiver, so I'm like, I'm getting better. Like, man, you need to get with this guy. I'm putting you on with this guy. He calling guys like, hey, I need you to go to Georgia this weekend and work out with this coach I used to work out with. Like, he gonna get you right. When he died, I was just like, he was like my guy, because like he was in the NFL. He I think his motivation of like, you can make it, man. I mean, you could get a game in. You might get a year. You might get 17 games, and then guess what? You go down as the guy that took the hard way. You took 3 years off. You made it back. Like, he was keeping the story going. When they kicked his door in and killed Tim, I was just like, yeah, that's kind of like led into the like, I'm done. I tried coaching for a little while. I really can't do kids. Like, but I had listen. This one I knew, like, coaching football, I need to go to a higher level. I had a 12-year-old who was pushing 300 pounds come to me and tell me, I think I should be the starting quarterback. I said, dude, why?
You can protect the quarterback, but you might not be the quarterback.
He was like, nah, you got to see me throw. So I'm like, I'm talking to the coach I'm coaching with at the time, like, you want to see him throw? He's like, we're going to throw him in for 3 plays. So at first, I didn't know he does this every team he's been on. He's told the coach, I need to be quarterback. You put him in. I mean, the man didn't throw 1 pass.
Oh, for real.
Bro, like, the first play, he thought he was Mike Vick. He like, I'm like, what? Throw the ball. Like, you're 300. Like, he's like 250. You're 12 years old. Throw the ball. Like, if you have any attribute, it's not speed. Let's be honest. I love you to death. But your biggest attribute isn't speed. It's either going to be power or it's going to be accuracy.
Right. So basically, it was like Eddie Lacy throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Eddie Lacy thinking he Mike Vick. He didn't even throw. Bro, I just told you. He got 3 plays
And all 3 plays he scrambled for negative yards.
He looked like Andy Reid when Andy Reid was
And then
12 in that Rams
you
uniform.
sure you don't want to play? You sure you don't want to play left tackle? Yeah, coach. I think I want to. Now he's top 10 rated in the state at tackle.
Yep.
But he wanted to be a quarterback. I'm like, dude, you know you can't.
I seen him like he wants the money in the ladies.
I seen him like a year ago. He was like, Coach, I appreciate it. I'm like, what? He was like, if you'd have let me just be me and play quarterback, I would probably not be playing football. I'm like, why? I stink at quarterback. Yeah, I know.
Gotta teach him, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta teach him lessons early.
Hey, Stu. Come on, Stu. Tell me I'm lying. I'd have been 28 on an NFL roster to get killed every week. And that's the only reason they'd have brought me in. Hey, man.
Good check, though. Good check.
He got fresh legs. He hasn't had any. We can get him out on the practice squad for a year. We could kill him for 17 weeks. Straight murder.
That's a good paycheck.
At best, you would have probably been. What's the dude that caught that one hand catch with the Eagles? We thought he was like amazing.
I didn't want to be him. I don't even want to be Jalen Rager. I don't even want to be
Jalen Rager. Yeah, not Rager. Not Rager.
But that was it in
not Rager.
Who you talking about? Then? I know you ain't talking about
recently.
No, the short is a short receiver. Not recently. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Like a practice squad guy?
Alameda?
Yeah, he was a practice squad guy.
Like
Greg Ward. Yeah,
it was Ward. Greg Ward.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have got as much playing time. Greg Ward.
It was recent. Greg Ward.
I would have been practice squad Greg.
That was like 2 years ago.
You've been Timu Greg.
Yeah, I'd have been practice squad Greg. They'd have been like, hey man, listen. By the time they realized I had any talent, I'd be 30.
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, you get to play football. That's such a tough call, though, because you get to play what you love to play, and the paycheck is the paycheck.
Hey, at the worst, you'd be making 6 figures instead of $1 million.
You know what I mean?
That's still great doing what you love to do.
Yeah, with the possibility of every week coming in and my locker cleaned out.
Yeah, but and then what happens? Worst case scenario.
Listen, I was talking to Andre, right? And I was like I said, I did all the weighing of the option. He was like, "Cuz, at your age, with the you don't got a big resume, cuz you first in, first out type guy. It might bring you in, you know what I mean? But when it's time to make some room, you gonna be him every time." Now, like Bruce said, it's you get to play football, you weigh all the options. But I was like, do I want to play at a level where I don't believe I should, I don't believe that's my calling, like to be a practice squad guy. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that was for me. Like at the time, did I want to continue playing football? 100%. I wanted to play for another 5 years. But knowing what I know now about what happened to me later, like tearing my meniscus a year later after that, breaking my wrist 2 times, like all that stuff playing a part. What happens to me on an NFL field?
Right.
Right.
Bruh.
I'd have been broke the first week, bro. I'd have been IR. They'd have IR'd me. I'd have been James Bradbury in the lunchroom. They'd have forgot I even got on the team. Who's that dude in the locker room eating mashed potatoes?
That's so funny.
Why does he have a contract? Who is he?
I'm as you said, like you tore. I'm so brittle now. Like I'm just so brittle. I went and played ball a couple weeks ago. I tore my meniscus. I got a surgery in April. I didn't even do anything. I wasn't even doing anything. Like I thought it was no, it's good. I'm actually I've torn my ACL 3 times.
Right.
So I thought this was going to be my fourth. I thought it was going to be my 4th. And I went to a doc and he's like, it's your ACL. I went and got a second opinion. They looked at it. He's like, no, your ACL's intact. Cool. Right. But I still got to get the surgery. And I'm looking at it saying, I didn't even earn it. I didn't even do anything. I just shuffled my legs. I shuffled my feet. It just went.
How I tore mine?
How's that?
My cousin wide open from 3. We playing 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not my guy. He's not my guy. But I'm in like the middle area where I'm like, I look at him in the corner and I'm like, I gotta go get this, right?
Oh no.
And I just run out there and I just throw my hand up. And my body doesn't stop.
Yep.
My body doesn't stop. I'm running out. Regular play, bro. Just throw my hand up just so he's shooting over something.
Yep.
And I just fall on the side. I'm laying and I'm just telling somebody like, hey, jump in for me real quick. I don't know what's going on with my leg. But I'm down there like, The bad
Hurts.
part, what really killed me though, Jace, I got back in and finished.
Oh, did you really?
And I couldn't go forward. And I knew something was wrong because I couldn't take off this way. I could only backpedal. So I backpedaled the whole game. Even on offense, I would just shuffle till I get to the corner. Then they throw it to me. I'm just switch. All right, cool. Shuffle back down. Turn around. I'm backpedal guy. And my wife's like, she's like, what's wrong with your leg? I'm like, I don't know. I can't go forward. She's like, you got to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I got a brace at home. I'm gonna throw the brace on. I'm going to work in the morning. Bro, I literally, my boss was like, I'm calling your wife if you don't call her because you're not working. I don't know what's wrong with your leg, but you're not finna walk out here and look
you
like
drag like that. What are you doing?
Yeah, my leg was just like, I'm just walking like, long as I can get my body up, my leg is covered up. I'm just gonna move everything together. And then he was like, go get it checked out. And I go to the hospital. I didn't even go to the hospital right then. Like I'm riding around the car. I got this big, bulky leg brace. I'm just like, no, it's okay. I think I just sprained it. Get to the hospital, like, yeah, you completely tore your meniscus. I'm like, oh.
Now did they
on a routine, like,
yeah, like for what? Over what? For nothing. If you just decided in that moment, like, yeah, I ain't chasing him, you be straight. You're fine.
But the athlete in me, the competitor in me said, go get
it. Same exact thing. Like, bro, I'm playing at LA Fitness. What are you doing? Calm down. Who gets hurt in LA Fitness? Twice. I stopped playing ball, bro. So I stopped playing ball 8 years ago. It was a week after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I decided I'm going to go get a run in. I want to get some sweat in. And I tore my ACL, right, at the local LA Fitness. Okay, and that was the last time I picked up a basketball. I'm done. I ain't playing it no more, right? I don't even want to do it. Well, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And exactly a week after, on a Sunday, I went to the same LA Fitness, said I wanted to get a sweat in, and I tore my meniscus this time. Same court, under the same bucket, same exact spot. Boom. Why? Because I'm an idiot.
So what do we do now as older guys?
Golf.
Are we the guys that golf? Hey, look, you know, are we the guys that just be in the gym when you come in and they just like shooting, and then everybody like, we finna run. We want to run, and you see him grabbing his bag and his ball. He like, nah, I was just here for the shoot, cuz. I was just here to shoot. I ain't got no problem with y'all. Yeah. Or do we become the old guy that you just said? We don't compete for those plays that's out of our realm. We just shooters now. We just spot them at the top, and we won't
even do it.
Three, and then we not defense. We don't got no defense. None of that.
Smitty, that's what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to be the 3-point line to 3-point line guy. I wasn't the 3-point line because the competitor in me said, "Oh, okay. We want to move. We're going to run. You ramping it up a little bit." Now it's LA Fitness, so we ain't really ramping anything up. But the competitor in you just comes out, and then you got to go. Yeah. I don't have that control. If I'm on a field, if I'm on a court, I'm going.
Yeah, you might be right. Golf might be it.
I can't get on a court anymore. I'm done.
Golf might be it.
Golf. A little bit of golf.
All right, let me get on Amazon, see if I can get me an old bag.
I'll show you a couple nice courses.
Give me a golf bag. It might be over with, DV.
All right, real talk though. I got to jump, boys.
Yeah, we getting out of here right now too.
Are you really? Good time.
We went 30 minutes over, to be honest.
All right. Well, that means it was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. But last words before we get out of here, man, and we can slide. Go ahead, Jason first, and then me and DV.
Me? Last words? No, I just my last words. I appreciate you guys having me on. I like getting to chop it up once in a while. Like I said, we started the show. You said I was real quick to respond because I love talking birds, dog. And it's not just birds. I'm a Phils fan, Sixers fan, Flyers if they ever turn it around.
You get along with DV. You get along with
I'm a 4 for 4 guy. But you don't. Nothing covers in this city like the Eagles.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're not a 4 for 4 guy?
No, I apologize that you got to deal with the Sixers in the process. I'm sorry,
bro. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And then when I hear people talk about the Phillies and the curse and all that, I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be. But luckily, that's why we win chips in Midnight Green now, right? We got a couple Super Bowls to ease our wounds, right? Ease our way back into it. And we wind up spending so much time talking about the Eagles. But I'm a 4 for 4 guy. I love what the city gives us in that perspective. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on and mix it up with you guys and just talk ball. You don't get to do that, as often. So I appreciate you for it.
Yeah, man. As always, man, for me, it's Fly Eagles Fly. I'm also 4 for 4. I started my podcast off talking Sixers, and that's when we just got James Harden. We just got James Harden. I started talking about the Sixers, but after that, it was all downhill from there. No, matter of fact, it was the year before because Ben Simmons was on our team. But after that, it was downhill. So I was just been straight Eagles content, just pushing that out. But look, man, I just want everybody to be patient, and if we don't get the guy that you want to get, so be it. But just know
Crash
how
out. If you don't get the guy you want, crash out like Smitty.
Don't crash out, dude. Don't crash out. Don't crash out, man. But always, man, go Birds, Fly, Eagles, Fly, man. Until next video.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tapping in. If you have not yet, Jason Ashworth, his stuff is in the comments, in the description. His social media. I think I put in Philly cheap seats. So tap in with bro. I mean, tell him Inside the Nest sent you, man. He'll probably be back. He like talking birds. We like talking birds. We got things in common. Other than yeah, bad knees. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get in here talking about no more of the bad. These knees through. They ain't going through no more. I probably listen. You know what? I ain't gonna. This is my last word right here. You want to know what I have turned into now? I'm the all-time quarterback when they want to play football. I don't have to do anything.
Better be touch.
Oh, it is touch. No. I can't get tackle. I'm all-time. I play for both teams.
Oh, you're a statue.
All I do.
Okay.
Yep. You're that 320-pound quarterback just standing.
Hey, this is not. I ain't got to worry about knees, ankles. Arm. The only thing I got to worry about is sometimes, we get a 4 or 5 hours in worth of playing and my arm a little.
That rotator cuff.
Other than that, I'm in all right. And guess what? I told him the other day, I'm not going over an hour and a half moving forward. You got an hour and a half, and then I'm taking a break. And you better hope after the break, I feel good enough to continue going. But nah, man. Somebody said it earlier, man. I'm gonna say it again, man. Just be patient. This offseason is coming together, man. You just gotta be patient because just because you see the starting product, don't mean you can predict the finished product. So have faith in Howie, have faith in the Eagles. Like he said, bro, we going through some times now that a lot of fan bases won't ever get the opportunity to. And a lot of people that were Eagle fans didn't think we would get the opportunity to. We here now. Embrace it, enjoy it, live life, love, peace.
Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? It's your boy King DV, and I'm with my co-host, Smitty. What's going on, bro?
Man, it's love, man.
Hey, y'all know the name of the game. Last minute of the stuff. We